Welcome back to the Stay Broke podcast. Today we have a very special guest. He is Ronnie Shirley from Lizard Lake Towing and Recovery. He's an entrepreneur, reality TV icon, and the guy who's seen just about everything life can throw at you, from building a business out of chaos to finding purpose beyond the spotlight. This episode is real, honest, and full of lessons. Ronnie, welcome to the Stay Broke podcast.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you having me, bud.
Yes, sir.
I ain't no icon, though. That's Ric Flair.
I like the one I like that you said was that you're infamous, not famous, 100%. And today's proof of it because we're here working on a Saturday.
Hey,
right?
bud, I tell everybody, I said, man, our famous folks don't work. Famous folks don't work. Us infamous folks, we all got to work.
This one's cool because this takes me back to when I was living in Wilmington and I was working at UNC Wilmington in the locksmith shop, and my buddy there was like, "Hey, you got to check out this show," right? And he turns on the computer, and there's Lizard Lake Towing, and from there I was hooked. So that's when we started watching it back in the day. Watched every episode all the way through, so that was a lot of fun. So it's awesome to sit down with you today. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and kind of what you do?
Yeah, I got all my roots in Johnson County, Joco. My family was a tobacco farming and moonshining family. That's where we got started. Everybody that's from North Carolina knows two famous moonshiners. They'll know Percy Flowers and they'll know Popcorn Sutton. Percy made the liquor down east here, and Frank Holden, who opened First Citizens Bank, pretty much was the finance, and then my great uncle Red did all the running. So through that, you know, his brothers, my grandpa Wilbert, and all them got involved. And as a kid, man, that's what I did. Is I'd hang out at the shop down there at the bake shop, and they'd have little poker rooms in the back, and I'd take little shots of moonshine to the tables at 6 and 7 years old, and them mothers would give me a nickel. And boy, I'm gonna tell you what, back when I was 7 years old, a nickel was big money.
Yes, sir.
You know, especially the more I took them, the more they drank, the more nickels I got. So, but that's honestly where I got my start, man. I was just on the streets of Johnson County working in Bakersfield.
Yeah. Were you a good kid or a troublemaker?
You know, honestly, man, I was I'm not boastful in any way, but up until 8th grade, I was a straight A student. Yeah. Never got in trouble, never had problems. But, you know, man, I was always a little heavy, and I had glasses that were so thick you could see the future. And I was a big kid, though, and people always like to pick on the little kids. And because I was a nerd, I was on the chess club, man. I was on the debate team. You know, I did all that. I played football, too, but that was my thing. I played chess, you know. I got tired of picking on kids, so between my 7th and 8th grade year, my mom was able to save up enough money and get me some contacts. I was like, oh, these are nice, you know. I can wake up in the morning and see an alarm clock. Well, I went and got a mohawk cut on my head 2 days before school because I knew they couldn't do nothing about it then.
Yeah.
When I went back to school my 8th grade year, my life changed, man, because I was tired of being bullied. I was tired of watching all the little kids get bullied. So first day of school, I found a guy that bullied us all the time and walked in the bathroom with him and lit him up. And I ain't the toughest guy in the world by far, but God gave me some strong hands. And I spent the rest of that year probably in school suspension 10 times. But it was always taking up for the people that couldn't take up for themselves.
Yeah. And
that kind of put me on a different course because I just got tired of seeing people get picked on, man. So then I started into trouble. And once you start in trouble is fun, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Trouble's fun. The worst whooping I ever took, as a matter of fact, was in Wilmington, though.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. That was a bad one, bud. Ooh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
But, trouble's fun. So all through high school, I stayed in trouble, honestly. But I graduated, went to 5 high schools, couldn't stand one for fighting. But my mom and dad stuck with me, man, and went to college for a little while, and the story went on from there.
Yeah. What was life like before you got into business?
Crazy, man. I got into weightlifting at an early age, probably 16, 17, became a bouncer. And, I don't hide anything from anybody. I'm real open about my life. You know, there was many years I was abusive to drugs, but one of the drugs I was really abusive to was steroids. I found out real quick that the bigger and stronger you are, the more people will leave you alone, especially if you're going to be a bouncer. So, man, before I got into business, I was bouncing all the time. And then I went and tried to play a little college football, and I got struck by lightning and knocked off a roof because we didn't have enough money really for college. So, I literally lived on $20 a week. And if you're trying to play football, you can't work. So, my mom could afford to send me $20 a week, but that hardly covered washing my clothes in Taco Bell if I could go to Taco Bell. But so I come home, I would work every week that I could work because I was in Missouri. I'd fly home, or actually I drove home, but I would work for a week or two if we were on break. And during the spring that year, I was working and lightning hit me, direct hit, knocked me off a roof, and I lost everything. Couldn't work, couldn't do nothing. The only thing I could do was still go to the gym for my upper body. So then I started bouncing again heavy at some really rough places. Yeah. And I knew quickly after 2 years that I can't stay here. Yeah. I'm going to get killed, you know.
Yeah, once you go into the bouncer life and you get into that bar scene, and next thing you know, you're going home at 5 o'clock every morning.
Every morning.
Yeah, I did it, but, you know,
it's
watching
rough,
somebody come through after you throw somebody out, come through with a gun, that's kind of, stuff gets real quick.
And the places I bounced at were not they were where the most money was, by far, but that's always where the most problems is. But my dad had been working at a place for like 25, 30 years, and they got bought out by overseas company. And the day they got bought out, they came in and fired all the regulars and brought in their people from overseas. Mm-hmm. So my dad didn't have nowhere to go, nothing to do. And he said, you know what, I'm going to do front-end alignments and sell a few used cars. So I was in the bar bouncing one night, and he called me up. I'll never forget it. It's probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock. I was going for the early shift because I worked at a bar with a lot of women. And he called me up. He said, I need some help. I said, Pops, whatever you need, I got it. He said, man, this guy owes me money on a car. He won't pay me. I went over there. He got violent with me. And my dad's like 5'8", bro. Weighs like 160 pounds. I mean, you know, and so, Bo, he's like, the guy put his hands on me. I was, you know, but I was hotter than a wet hen at all you need to eat omelet breakfast. I'm like, told my boss, I said, hey, man, I'll be back in 2 hours.
Right.
So I rode over to Dad's. I'm like, what you want to do? He's like, I don't want to do nothing. I want you to go get my car. Here's the keys. I rolled up in that guy's yard. He come walking outside. We went straight to the ground. I got finished with him. I got in the car and drove off. Bo, I was hooked. I was like a largemouth bass at an Earthworm family reunion. I was like, I found my career.
Found your calling.
The only difference is you had to learn to quit fighting. See, nowadays you can't fight at all. But back then, you know, it'd take the law 30 minutes to get out of Johns County, Bo. By the time they got out there, I was already back in the Wake County. So I wasn't worried about it. Well, yeah, so that's how I got started. And I'm telling you, that first car, I'll never forget, it was a 1980 gold Camaro. Bo, I was hooked. I ended up buying that car from my pops later on and kept it for many years just because that was like, you know, your first dollar.
It meant something.
Car, man. I was like, yeah.
Trophy.
Yeah.
Was it still at that? Was that his car lot that's at your lot
now? He actually rented a 1-room office.
Okay.
And I think it was like, man, it's been years, but I think it was like $150 a month. And he had like 4 little cars out there. So during the day, he would do front end alignments at my uncle and him had a tire and front end alignment muffler shop in Selma. It was my uncle's shop that he worked there. And at night, he'd come in at like 5:30 to 9. On Saturdays too, he'd sell a few used cars. And it just started building up. And, you know, I started doing all his repos, and he's like, you know, Ronnie, look, you're the only guy I know that can talk a wooden Indian out of his mind. Why don't you come sell some cars for me? I'm like, Pops, I ain't no car salesman. You know, that ain't me.
Yeah.
I like the adrenaline. And he said, just come try it. So I said, all right, I'll come try it. And I went in, man. It was just a good fit, Bo, because I ain't going to lie, I'm a talker. I mean, yeah, I like to talk. I love people. I love to talk to people. Next thing you know, I'm selling cars. You know, we get some contracts, hook up with some finance companies, got on some first-time buyer programs, and just basically built it from scratch. And within 5 years, we actually bought Lizard Lick.
Okay.
And
what year are we talking about here?
That was 1997.
Okay.
1997, 1998. So we actually ended up buying Lizard Lick. And back then, I'm telling you, Bo, I mean, we didn't even have a stoplight.
There wasn't nothing up there.
Bo, it was a crossroads in the middle of Yonderville.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was like unbelievable. We got a stoplight, Bo. It was the biggest news in the nation for us. Like, and believe it or not, we bought the lot, and we have a mayor, and the mayor's town hall was in the middle of our lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the mayor's there every day, man. It's kind of cool. So when they put the stoplight up, the funniest thing is, man, and don't ask me how, but they gave that mug a switch. So if there's an emergency, he can stop traffic for the emergency vehicles. And Charles Wood used to sit out there when I was young, Bo, and we laugh and joke around, man, and that mug be like, watch this, click. And you see
turn it off
every mile. He's like, you getting ready to sell a car. I was like, Charles, hit that button all day, buddy. Every 30 minutes, go ahead, hit that button. But yeah, that's how we got started, man. And you know, the only thing, the old adage is don't work with family. Yeah. I will 100% tell anybody out there, Bo, you can work with your wife. You can work with your kids. Working with your brother and sister is a different beast.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just different because when you're working with your dad, that's your dad or your mom. That's your folks. Pops always had final say.
Yep.
When you work with your kids, there's that kind of same level of respect. At least there used to be. When you work with your wife, well, y'all kind of have the same goals most of the time. You know, you
hopefully.
Yeah, I mean that's usually when you marry somebody, you might be opposites, but you're like-minded. When you work with your brother and sister, Bo, that usually goes over like a turn of punch bowl. I mean, I've seen some successful brothers together, but it's not very often.
Right.
See a lot of cousins and people, but my brother got into it. My dad was in it. I was in it, and it just, man, about 10 years in, we just teetered out. Like we had different visions, we had different objectives, we had different lifestyles, and so we ended up in a huge family fight one night. And he didn't like my first wife, which nobody liked my first wife. You ever seen Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
You know when that house fell on that witch?
Yeah.
Well, I married her sister.
Okay.
So nobody liked my first wife.
Right.
But we had a big fight, man, and one thing led to another. My brother showed up at my house, and at that time we had bought one rollback, and I was transporting cars from the auction. He said, "I'm buying you out." I said, "You can't buy me out." He said, "Oh, you won't have a choice. Here's the rollback, it's yours. We're going to give you the other half of the lot, and you ain't coming back." And I said, "Can I do your repos?" He said, "Well, I won't go hire nobody else." That's how we started, buddy. I went to one end of business with a rollback. He stayed at the other end of business, sold cars, and I hauled. and we built from there.
Yeah.
We built from there, man. So
And it worked.
It does now that we're separated, but still the same. He does cars, I do my thing, and now it works.
Okay.
But as you get older, like I said, people have different visions, man. I just never see a lot of close family members stay together for so long, as far as brothers and sisters. And I've watched that because I've had a lot of business opportunities to get in business with other family.
Yeah.
And I've been very skeptical. Very skeptical.
Yeah, you hear a lot more horror stories than success stories, that's for sure.
I just get skeptical, but I'm not saying it can't be done. You just really got to have your boundaries.
Yeah.
And, I think I love to use Facebook as a perfect example. Look what Mark Zuckerberg did to the real guy that invented it. There was 3 of them, and then there was 2, and now there's 1.
Yeah, that's right.
And the other 2 didn't leave by choice. So,
And you see that in most of those big corporations.
You do, man. Once the money starts coming in, I think that's what it is. Nobody minds being in the trenches with you and grinding and bleeding and sweating and working 80 hours a week. But let that money hit, and all of a sudden it's issues.
Yeah.
I want to do this with it. I want to do this with it. Now we got a conundrum. And, in my lifestyle, with the lifestyle I live, I settled things with these at the time, and that didn't go over too well because my brother, like my daddy, Bo, that mug ain't knee high to a piss ant. So he's like, "I'm tired of this. You're a bully now." I'm like, "I'm not a bully, man. I just ain't doing it your way,
So from the show, you were my second favorite person on the show.
Bobby.
No,
Amy.
Amy. Let's talk about her. When did she come into the picture?
So, and again, I'm open, man. I've learned that if I try to hide anything, it always comes back to bite me.
Yeah.
My life being on TV and stuff just opened a lot of books. So I'm honest, but just step back a minute from 15 to 17. I left a little part out. I probably should tell if we're going to tell this part of the story, but I got locked up for 6 months. And back then it was called a mental ward because they thought that smoking pot was psychological or physical. I can't remember, one or the other.
Oh, that's crazy.
So they locked me up because I was a first-time offender, and that's when I was doing all steroids. But I smoked to go to bed, Mo, because when you do steroids, man, I'm telling you, you're up all night. Like, you can't sleep when you're blowed up.
Yeah.
Can't breathe, can't sleep. Like, sleep's a treasured thing if you can get 4 good hours sleep at the time. So I got caught, and they sent me away. And during this 6 months, man, the doctor would come in every Tuesday and Thursday night. Dr. Jones, never forget, Duke Meyer Ward, Duke on the 3rd floor of Meyer Ward. And I got raised Tuesday and Thursday. So when I came out of all that and got into bouncing and stuff, that's why I was always so wanting to do steroids, wanting to be a big guy, wanting to be able to fight, because I swore when I left that place, no man would ever put his hands on me again, ever touch me again.
Right.
So that kind of led to, I'm not going to say a wounded person, but a very defensive person. If you hurt me, buddy, I'm telling you, man or woman, I'm going to get you back. I'm going to find a way. You can't hit a woman, I know that. You can't shake a woman, I know that. But let one come up and do something to me that's like really nasty, dirty, And so I I went through my life living that mentality. At the time now I wasn't saved. Just please keep that in mind. That was way pre-saved days.
Right.
And I am saved. I'm a Christian, so life is totally different now. I fight with my mind and my mouth. But I married this girl, and we had a little kid, and then I had to go on a hunting trip, so I asked my best friend. I said, hey, man, can you stay at the house? She's got a bachelorette party. Take her to the bachelorette party, bring her home. I just had a bad feeling the whole 2 days, like something ain't right. So I go home, and we talk. She's like, no, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. Well, she pops up pregnant. And I can't remember what happened, but about the 7th or 8th month, she was real pregnant. One of my other buddies come to me and said, man, I can't. I got to tell you the truth. Joey slept with your wife while you were out of town. I'm like, dude, what? And again, man, I'm telling you, I was that crazy dude. So at the time, I was living with my brother. I had a room, he had a room, we had our own house. So Joey, we rented him an apartment in the back. So I went and picked my wife up, took her over to where I was staying at the time because we were arguing. And I basically set her down and set him down, and I asked him, put them back to back, and I said, hey, Joey, did you sleep with my wife? He said, no, I didn't sleep with your wife. I said, all right. Looked at Chris, said, did you sleep with my wife? Did you sleep with Joey? He said, no, I didn't sleep with Joey. I said, all right. I pulled a 9mm out, put a bullet in Joey's mouth, and put it in there and pulled the hammer back, and I was going to kill him right then because I knew he was lying.
Yeah.
And he said, I did it, mumbling on the thing, man. And the only thing that kept me from going to prison the rest of my life was the baby in that belly. So I made a decision right then that whether it's mine or it's not mine, it's mine. Don't care. That's my baby. Baby shouldn't suffer. So now I'm really wounded, and I just buried myself in work. And I told her, I said, when the baby's born, I'm leaving. But I'll pay all the bills. I'm not going to screw the baby. I don't care about you, like literally. I mean, I don't care if somebody throws you up under a train. I will not come help you.
Yeah.
So I went to working, like, seriously, man, I'm working 16, 17, 18 hours a day. Because the only thing I know to do when I'm upset is to pour myself into my job. Because that's my sanctity. That's my sanity. And there was this little girl, man, every night about 2 or 3, I'd stop up on Capitol Boulevard, man, at a little place up there, little breakfast place, and I'd always get a cup of coffee. And there was this little redheaded girl in there, man, and she'd always bring me my coffee. And I just thought she was the cutest little thing, but I'm wounded, like I'm hurt, man. I ain't interested in no women, but we just got to talking, hanging out, and whatnot. So then, I bring my brother around her. He's like, man, that girl's hot. I'm going to take her out. Now, my brother's always the one with money. I'm always the country boy. He's got his little Corvette, a little prissy boy, a little Tom Cruise looking fella. So then I got another friend. I don't know if I told you about him, but he was, back in 2002, he won the 4th strongest man in the world. He was 6'6", 385 pounds.
Okay.
Had 26-inch biceps, 56-inch chest, man. Biggest guy you ever met, big baby. But the man was bigger than any NFL lineman you've ever seen. I mean, I'm telling you, Johnny Perry, you can look him up, Johnny Wade Perry. So I took Johnny up there. He worked with me some nights. I took Johnny up there, and Johnny's like, boy, that's one good-looking girl. I'm going to take her out. I'm like, no, you ain't. Like, y'all, what's up with y'all, man? So now it's a competition between me, my brother, and my best friend on who's going to take this pretty redheaded girl out.
Right.
And so Johnny goes in there with all the bravado. He's showing up 2 or 3 times a day. Jason's riding by in his Corvette, leaving, $20, $30 tips. Here's old broke Ronnie riding around in a truck, a tow truck that ain't got nothing to offer nobody, Bo. And I'd stop in, and one night I finally said, look, you want to go out? She's like, I've been waiting for 3 weeks for you to ask me. So I went and picked her up on our first date, and picked her up in a rollback. Left the driveway, hit a deer.
High class.
Hit a deer, bro.
No.
Threw the deer on the bed and winched it down. She said, what are you doing? I said, we're going to cancel this date and we're going to clean this deer. I wasted it, like, I ain't got no money. And she started laughing. She said, I told my mom I would never date a country boy or redneck. I said, well, you lied.
She went to the extreme.
Bro. I took that deer home, skinned it out. She stood there. We talked about 4 hours that night, man. Next thing you know, she was just the one. But it was the fact that Amy don't take no crap, man. Like, I'm wounded, and I'm like, if I bowed up at her and got loud, bro, she's 110 pounds with nothing but Tasmanian devil. She get loud back.
Yeah.
Nobody would push her around because she grew up without a dad and learned to defend herself. And so, we bring her into the fold, man. And the day my kid come home from the hospital, I officially start dating her because I wouldn't kiss her nothing until then. I ain't saying I'm a good person, but I'm a respectable person. And so we bring her into fold, Bo, and I'm going to tell you, man, it's the life we had pre-saved. Why that woman stuck around, buddy, I will never know.
Yeah.
I will never know. But we started bringing her in, and she was an aerobics instructor. She was working 3 jobs to put herself through college. She worked at daycare here in Wake Forest, seminary back when they had that. She was a waitress, and then she did some book work for a guy at his firm. But I mean, literally, this girl's going to college full time and working, 45, 50 hours a week. 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, Bo, and getting up going to class at 8 o'clock. So, she was impressive.
Yeah, driven.
I mean, she was impressive, Bo. She had a business mind, and I'm going to tell you, if I'd have listened to her on investments over the last 20 years, I would never be working right now. I learned a lot in the last 20 years on investments, and we'll talk about that. But, man, she was just so motivated. And she was an aerobics instructor, so we brought her in the gym, and Johnny's training for a strongman. I'm still doing my thing, and I'm benching at the time a little over 600 pounds. I'm doing bench contests. The other 2 guys with us, we had a Leslie powerlift coach. One of them was deadlifting close to 700, which back then 810 was the world record.
Right.
We just had a great powerlifting club, man. That's all we did was powerlift. So she come in one day doing her little aerobic stuff, and I was making fun of her. I'm like, why don't you get over here with the men, or why don't you get over with the boys? She's like, all right, cool. So we put her on her squat rack. Now keep in mind, I'm not kidding. This girl weighs 115, 120 pounds tops.
Right.
So we put her on a squat rack. I'm like, all right, give her the bar, let her warm up. She warms up. So we put 225s on there, and 95 pounds, 105 of collars. And I'm like, all right, just give that a shot. See if you can do 10. She got a 6 and racked it. I said, what are you doing? She said, if I'm going to squat that, I don't need to waste my time. I said, what? I said, you're kidding, right? She said, no, that's like paper. I said, no, ain't no way. I said, all right. So we slapped some more weight on there. We get up to 185. I said, all right, now, Butch, go ahead. That's the first time I ever caught a Butch, and it stuck after this day. She gets on there, pop, 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 hits 5, racks it. She's like, not heavy enough. I said, what? I said, what? No, I'm checking weights. Johnny's checking weights. Johnny said, rack 225 on there. He walks over there and curls it, Bo, just to be cocky. I'm like, I've got to warm up with this. Racks it back for her, man. She gets under 225, Bo, and knocks that mug out for 10.
What?
Never squatted in her life, and I mean 10 of the most perfect. I was just falling off the floor, Bo. I'm like, you can't teach that. Like, that kind of natural strength and that kind of position and style, you can't. And now, don't get me wrong, she was a little girl but had legs this big around. And she just has natural quads and calves. And we were just blown away. So we're like, hey, why don't you start lifting with us? And she's like, why? I'm like, I'm not trying to be funny, but if you let me train you, I think I can get you a state title. She's laughing. It's like, no, you can't. I said, sugar, in your weight class right now, and at this time she's under 23, right? So it's juniors division. I said, the state title is only 280. You just hit 225 and 10 in my gym.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. So we train, and we start training hard. And the more we train, man, the more I just see crazy stuff. So I start calling some of my buddies. You probably never heard of them, but I had some buddies at Westside Barbell. I had some buddies up in Maryland. I had some buddies that were national champion powerlifters, 2 or 3 world champions that we knew from the circuit, especially as a strongman. Right. I said, hey, man, I want to bring this little girl I'm dating by. I want you to check out her form, see what you can teach her. So, hey, man, they taught her how to bench with her back arc, keeping her butt on the bench. Like, they told her all the techniques that we would do, but it's hard to teach somebody when you're with them.
Yep.
And so we held out, man, and we held out for her first show. We did one local show, and she went in there and just obliterated every state record in her class. I mean, just blew them out the water. And I'm like, yeah, we ain't lifting again until nationals. So we go to a qualifier for nationals, and we hold back. And at the qualifier, she beat every lift that she had done at the little meet, but only by a little bit, because I was like, man, we can't. If this gets out, it's gonna be some serious competition at nationals. So we get to nationals, and she sets the open world record in her weight division. And she's up to about 140 then.
Wow.
And she leaves national, goes to worlds, and sets 24 state, national, and world records.
Jeez.
In her first
show.
First worlds, bro.
That's crazy.
And I mean, clean, like, man, she weighed in we're in the 148 class. She was weighing 143, 144 when she stepped off scale. The first thing I do is hand her a can of Campbell's soup for the sodium and a bottle of water. Because we diet down hard, because we don't want to get over 148 for the lift, but we have 24 hours to put as much weight on as we can, but not nasty weight. So we do a lot of sodium, a lot of water intake. So by the lifting day, she's probably 147. And she squatted, we're using kilo plates, she squatted 551 at 22 years old and 147 pounds, bro.
Wow.
She benched 355, and she deadlifted 400. 22 years old.
That's crazy.
I was sold. I was like, this is
this is it.
Dream girl right here. You know, this is my love. Yeah. And then life just got really hectic because of what we did. She come into business with me, and you know, there's a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting in the business we're in, and that's why I loved her, man. She never backed down, but she never backed down from me. And that was a big thing because I was still wounded at the time. So, you know, I would get ultra aggressive, really verbally nasty. Yeah. She didn't back down. This girl squats 500 pounds. She don't care.
She won't back down, but she had your back, too.
Oh, yeah, always, brother. We've always had the same mindset. She just gets mad when I don't listen to her. And I should have listened to her many times, but, you know, she got tougher and tougher. Then she ended up becoming a MMA fighter. And then she ended up becoming a licensed mortician. And I'm like, it's getting worse and worse. Like, wow, man. Not to mention, in all honesty, and I think I told you this, but her grandma's 100% Cherokee.
Right.
Her daddy came on a boat from Ireland. So I got a red-headed Irish Cherokee Indian that can fight, bury you, and is a world champion powerlifter. I'm like, man, what did I do? I look back in life, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, whoa, Bo, you know, but she, we had so many crazy stories. Like I said, she shouldn't stuck around. She got mad at me one night, and I'm standing in the middle of the driveway. She's like, I'm leaving, get out the way. I'm like, you ain't leaving. She's like, I'm leaving. You got to the count of 3. 1, and hits the gas. Oh, I fly up on the hood. She's doing 35 miles an hour, hangs a right, and slings me 80 yards across the field. I'm literally 80 yards. I'm rolling. She don't even let off the gas. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get her. That's it. So I run back and jump in my truck, go down the road another way and catch her. And she's coming around the back of Bojangles trying to hide. And I hit her head on. About 15 miles an hour. Smack! You know, I'm mad now. I'm in road rage. I jump out. I'm like, you ain't leaving till we talk. And we're right in front of Bojangles' boat. And she's got a window cracked about that far. She said, I ain't getting out. And I punched right through the window. I'm like, we going to talk face to face. She's like, I ain't getting out. I'm like, we going to talk. And next thing I know, these 2 dudes come from Bojangles, man. And they're like, what's up? And I'm like, nah, sell on them casts. Wow. Well, I had reached in and took her key out. I was being smart. Yeah, I'm not that smart.
You thought so.
Because while I'm fighting these dudes, she gets out, gets in my vehicle, and leaves again. And now I can't find the key that I took out the ignition. And I'm like, uh-oh. Now here come the cops. I'm stuck there with no key, you know. So we had so many stories like that. And I always ask her, I said, why'd you stick around? She said, God told me I had to. And she's honest about it. She was a Christian. She said, God told me I had to. I'm like, man, I don't know how you listen to God at that time. And now I understand it, but I was like, I don't know why you stick around for my crap, you know?
Yeah.
It was, but there's like 100 stories like that, no lie. Like, man, I got a fight one night, and no lie, I turned around, and there was a guy standing between us. It was a good buddy of ours, but he was a little intoxicated. And he swung at me, hit me. So I elbowed him in the face, and he falls on her. So she jumps up. When she jumps up, I'm trying to hit him, and she's trying to cross. Caught him right in the back of the head. I'm like, and I mean, I just froze. I'm like, oh, you know, because I know I'm like, oh my gosh. Next thing I know, Bo, I'm literally looking up from one knee. I can't, there ain't been 3 men in my life that hit me that hard. Dude, she caught me right under the jaw. My mama was there, and I went down a knee, and I was buckling. And I'm like, who hit me? And they're like, Amy? And I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing nothing about that. Yeah, fight's over, y'all. We all going home. But like she did,
and all this is only funny because of where it's ended.
Where it ended, man. Yeah.
So
you know,
I just want to be clear about that.
She laughs about it, I laugh about it, but we're open about it because it's a great part of our testimony, our ministry, that she listened to God to stick around. Now keep in mind, I didn't beat her or nothing. Okay, I got loud, I cussed, but I never beat her. I wasn't a beater. But any other woman in her case would have walked away. I'm telling you, that nobody would have stayed with me, and all that was just that anger built up from. And it's no excuse, but the anger built up from the ring. Your wife cheating on you, and, you know, all that. But she took my kids and raised them like her own. They called her Mamie. You would have never known that weren't her youngins, ever. And, you know, we got our own youngins, but she doesn't treat them no different, man. She is a wonderful mama. She's a wonderful lady. She's a wonderful woman of God. But, you know, it's those stories that build us. But in the business we're in, the repo business, she had to have that backbone. And in looking back, I think God just allowed her to suffer through some of that to build her backbone and build her. Because I'm telling you, in the office, you don't mess with that woman.
Right.
She will sell on you. You call her the wrong word, she's coming from behind the glass. She don't even care about the glass. I'm serious. She don't care about the glass. And she does it with a righteous indignity, like, you know, but you put your hands on her. If you ever saw Amy fight on the show,
oh, yeah,
they were pretty much all real.
Yeah.
she was welling guys, just welling them. And I was like, you know, and I mean, she got one fight on camera when she was 7 months pregnant. And I'm like, have you lost your mind? She's like, no, he ain't touching me. What do you say? I mean, that's the lady that I helped build. So, but that same backbone of all the funny, mean stories and whatnot is the same backbone. And again, looking back, that when I got saved, we were living together and we had a big fight. And it stemmed off where she punched me. And she was walking down the hall one night. And I'll tell you one thing about my wife. Now, I'm not kidding, Bo. If she tells you she's done, buddy, you might as well take it to the bank, cash in as good as gold. Good as that gold. Good as real gold. She's done, brother. If she tells you she's done with you, she's done with you. I don't business, personal. She's done. There's no coming back.
Right.
She'll give you a second and third chance, but when she's done, bro, you just went to the slaughterhouse. You got nailed. It's over. And she come walking down the stairs, had 2 bags in her hand. I said, where do you think you're going? She's like, I'm done. And I seen him, bro. I seen them eyes. Like you know, a woman gets to a point when you know that you've done pushed it too far. She said, I'm done. And I'm like, nah, you really gonna leave me? She's like, I'm done. I stayed as long as I was supposed to stay. I don't have to stay no more. And she was dead serious, bro. And I'm like, you can't leave me. Like, we got a life. And she's like, nah, you got a life. And she goes to walk out the door and she hands me a Bible. And she said, you won't never see me again unless it's in heaven. And here's the roadmap. I hope you find the way. Whew. Bo, still eats me up. So I was like, didn't chase her, didn't argue. Sat down that night and honestly, man, just relived everything that I had done, gone through. Johnny had died at this point, you know, just all the trauma, all the meanness, all the hate, all the good times, all the bad. And I started reading that book. And I read that book for 6 hours straight. I'm not kidding. And people can tell you there's not a God, and people can tell you there is a God. And, you know, I am an evangelist now, and I love everybody, man. And I mean that sincerely. But I don't care if you're Muslim, Buddhist. I don't care if you're atheist. I care less. I'm going to love you. But if you give me a chance to talk about God, I'm going to talk about God. I'm going to tell you about my God. But I read that Bible that night, and for the first time, man, I literally, you know, a lot of people say, you fell asleep. I might have, I don't know, man, maybe it was a dream, but I was in a pasture, and I was on the side of a fence, and there was all these wolves behind me growling at me. And I had chains on my feet and arms, and there was this dude standing at the house, and he's like, come home. And I'm like, I can't, I'm stuck, I can't. He's like, come home. And I'm like, I can't, I'm stuck. He's like, all you got to do is ask to come home. These wolves are growling. I'm stuck in chains. They're getting tighter and tighter. And I mean, literally, man, I'm telling you, I think I was in like a, I don't know, outer state. I guess the best way to say it, man. It felt like a lot more than a dream, you know. And he said, just ask to come home. And I'm like, please, God, let me come home. Just let me come home. And the chains fell, Bo, and the gate opened. And I ran through the gate. And all the wolves, I looked back and they stopped at the fence, Bo. And there was like 100 of them. I mean, big, not like wolves you see in the wild, like big wolves you see on the Hulk, like the big altar dog, right. Big mean ones. And I ran in, Bo, and I remember running to the light. He was standing there and I could see his shadow through the light, like, you know, big light behind him. And he said, welcome home. And woke up, Bo, turned my life over to God. Changed everything I did, everything that I wanted to do. I mean, I ain't saying I was perfect, man, but from that day on, if you've heard me cuss, it's rare. Like, it's just one of them things I didn't do anymore, so I come up with all these Ronisms that you hear me say. Yeah. But the number one reason I did it was for myself. I didn't do it to get Amy back. I didn't think she'd ever come back. And I tried to find her for about 3 months. The problem working with a repo man is he teaches you how to hide because he finds everybody's hiding. Yeah. Man, I searched the country for this girl for 3 months. I mean, the country, all my databases, all, you know, social media was just coming online, all my contacts, her mama, man, could not find this girl. She had went ghost. I'm like, there's no, like, I can find anybody, but my success rate was over 90% in repos. I was one of the best repo men out there. I was one of the first guys to come up with investigator, phone call, setups, wreck cars. Like, I was the guy that was at the forefront of all that. And could not find her, Bo. And then about 3 months go by, and I finally move on. And my kids have accepted it. And I'm doing really good at work, man, because, you know, I'm not doing things the wrong way now. I'm doing them right. Because, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm that guy that would, brother, I would go cut all the tow lines on your truck so you couldn't do business that week. I mean, I'm telling you, I was that guy. I'm with business. I'm getting it. And phone rings, and she's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, working. She's like, I arrive at the airport in 2 hours. You gonna pick me up? And I'm like, what? Yeah, shut everything down, call my brother. You still got that vet? I don't want to show up in my raggedy tow truck. Still got the vet? He's like, yes, I'm coming to get it. I run, get the vet, Bo. I take what few dollars I have, go buy me a nice shirt, man, buy some roses, show up at the airport. And she walks out, I'm trying to give her a hug. She's like, don't touch me. I just need her to ride back to my mom. So I'm like, wow, wow. Here we go. She takes the flowers, throws them in the trash can.
Oh.
It's like, I figure you want me to ride back to my mama's. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. So I put her in the car, take her to mama's, and get ready to leave. She said, let's talk. I said, all right, let's talk. So we get to talking. She's like, people keep telling me you changed. I'm like, well, I think I've changed, but, Amy, I didn't change for you. I changed because of you. What you did let me deal with all my trauma, all my problems, and now I'm going to use it to help people, especially boys, young men. Like, I want to work with those. I want to talk to them, man, because if not, they're going up in prison just like I almost did.
Yeah.
People that have, been cheated on, adultery, people that have drug addictions, people that, live the lifestyle, live in and out of jail. I said, man, I want to work with these people, and I have the best opportunity to do it because I'm in the repo business. So half the people I'm meeting are down on their luck.
Right.
Half the people I'm meeting, no matter how mad they are, if I can find a way just to have communication with them for business, I can turn that into something else. So we talked for a little while. One thing leads to another, man. And she doesn't drop her guard for weeks. But I wasn't trying. This time I wasn't trying, man. And I think she saw the true change. And we sat down one night and she said, well, I lied. And I hate to admit I lied. And I'm like, what'd you lie about? She said, you can see me again if you want to. And I was like, my whole world came together. And it just showed me the glory of God, man. But it moreover showed me how different my life was, but not only that, how different my business was with and without her. Man, without her, like, I did okay. But
right.
The business suffered. Like, we lost money, we lost accounts, and not because I was upset or because I become a Christian, because I couldn't handle it by myself. I needed that backbone in the office, and she came back, Bo, and we absolutely exploded. Just exploded. We became one of the top independent repo companies in the state, probably one of the top 10 on the East Coast at the time.
Okay.
We exploded. We had 13 trucks, like 17, 18 drivers in that little itty bitty place. And
what year was this that you got saved and everything started to turn around?
So I got saved in 2005, right at the end. Really started dedicating everything, really started trying to move forward. 2006, that's when we really started trying to do, more for our beliefs than we did for us. And then, this is the crazy part, man. Of all the toughness I had, all the fights I'd won, me winning tough, man, Johnny winning strong, man, Amy and her accolades, and she had just really gotten MMA good then. We didn't have success. We had a successful business, great business model. But we didn't have the success that we've been chasing. But when we just sat down and buckled in as a family, man, and we sat down and focused on what mattered was the family. Let's build this business so the kids have something, and we looked at the parameters instead of just, hey, man, I want money in my pocket. And what can we do for the kingdom? Then it was weird, man, because we were sitting there one day and, I'm sure you prank people like I do. Like all my buddies, like we always pranking each other. So I'm sitting at the office, phone rings, and it's this British girl, and I don't speak good British. She's like, can I speak to Ronnie? And I'm like, no. Why you need Ronnie? And she's like, I just want to talk to him. I'm like, nah, he ain't here. She's like, well, my name is Joe Inglot, and I'm with RDF Media. I said, tell Philip to find a better liar. And I hang up the phone, man. This goes on for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
She keeps calling me back. I keep hanging up on her because I think it's my buddies pranking me, She's like, I want to talk to you about the TV show, Ronnie. And I'm like, shut. Where'd you find somebody with a British accent, bro? Because I know this is one of y'all. I know y'all in the background laughing. Y'all going to put me like, on the new social medias, just taking like y'all going to have me on prank calls or some stuff. I'm not falling for this. So this literally goes on for 45 minutes. And the next day, me and Amy were sitting at the office, man. I had just come in from a repo. I was tired. I've been out all night. And a black limo pulls up to the front door of Liz Lick. Now keep in mind, but we ain't never.
First limo ever in this.
Hey, look, the first Corvette Liz Lick's my brother's. I'm like, and I told Amy, I said, we are in trouble. That's my first thought. My past is getting ready to bite me because this is going to be feds or nobody shows up in Liz Lick in a limo.
Right.
And this lady gets out and she's like, looked like she just come off the yellow brick road, man. She's like a little short English lady, got this accent. She comes in, she's like, I need to see Ronnie Shirley. And I'm like, oh, snap. That's the lady from yesterday. I'm like, ma'am, I'm sorry. I don't know what you needed. I thought you were a prankster. She's like, we need to talk. Yes, ma'am. And Amy's just over there dying because I was sitting there all the time. And she slaps this thing on the counter. She says, we're doing a TV show called Wife Swap, and we want your wife. Like, why'd you ask for me? Like, literally, because we always ask for the husband. And I'm like, don't they ask me, you ask her. Because I ain't about to tell you nothing for Amy. Because there's one thing about Amy I'm going to tell you about. You don't speak for Amy.
Right.
You know, you do not speak for Amy. When somebody says, how y'all doing? I look at her and go, how we doing, baby? Tell us how we doing, because I need to know. But so she had Wife Swap, and I was like, oh yeah, Wife Swap. And you know, at the time, man, we were rolling in the repos, but you know, money coming in, money going out on the trucks. You know, as a business owner, man, it takes a lot to make a lot.
Oh yeah.
But it's just because profit margin wise, I can make as much with 4 trucks as I can make with 14. It's just a larger profit margin, but I can make the same percentage. Do I want them 14 headaches?
Right.
You know, versus the 4 truck headaches. So I'm sitting there thinking, and she goes, well, we normally pay couples, and I'll never forget this, but it's like 2007. We pay couples for 10 days work, and we will give y'all $10,000 a piece. Sold.
Where's she going?
Is that cash? It can be sold. Where's she flying to? She's over there looking at me. She said, absolutely not. I said, excuse me, Miss Inglot. Excuse me a second. This is a business opportunity, Amy. Amy said, ain't no woman coming in my house raising my kids. Ain't no woman ever going to do that. If it ain't my mama, your mama, they ain't stepping in the doors, Ronnie. I said, give us just a minute. So she's like, I tell you what, I'll give you an hour to talk. I'm going to get somebody. I'll come back. This limo leaves. Hour later, boom. I mean, it's literally like trying to talk a bull down off a set of steps. You know, you can send a bull up the steps, but I don't know if you've ever noticed, but cows and bulls will not walk down steps. Yep. They'll walk up them all day long, get to the top of the barn, but they'll just step there and die. They don't care. That's my wife. So the lady comes back in. I'm over there, tail tucked between my legs, like, Miss Inglot, I'm so sorry, but my wife says that, you know, we can't put our kids through that. She's like, well, how about $20,000 a piece? I said, sold. Like, I'm about to have another go at it. Hold on, give me 10 minutes. Amy looks at me and said, don't even ask. And I'm like, I mean, Bo, 10 days, $40,000.
Right.
Literally. I'm like, in my mind, I'm already processing. We can get another truck. I can extend a lot. I can build a fence. I'm already building like I'm on Sims, bro, building a company, you know. And she's like, don't ask. Do not. If you ask, we're going to have issues. And I'm like, Miss Inglot, no. So she's like, y'all are making a horrible mistake. Y'all are making a horrible mistake. And I said, look, I tell you what, just give me the paperwork. Let me work on it. You know? So I take the paperwork and I fill it all out and I forge Amy's name. I do the whole nine. I send that mug in. Because if we get accepted, then, you know, at least the opportunity is real. It's not like, you know. So she calls me up and she goes, we have a problem. I was like, what now? You can't be on Wife Swap. Why? You have a criminal record. And it's misdemeanors now for being in a fray, for fighting. It's a Disney show, and Disney doesn't let, and you know what Disney lets on TV now. Let me just say that. But at the time, Disney can't have anybody in a house with kids that have any kind of criminal record. I said, well, what kind of country boy that grew up in the cut and does repos ain't gonna have a criminal, like, right? I'm in court every week for something. I run over somebody's dog. They say I gave the cat trauma. Like, the kids can't sleep because I repoed at 3 a.m. Like, I mean, I'm in court every week. And she's like, yeah, they won't do it. She said, but, and like you did that day when she was down there, they were just filming her, talking to us stuff. They said, but we want to talk to you about something else. I said, oh, God. What? I'm not going to go do them 60 days in or crap like that. At the time they had that show, but I'm thinking, y'all want me to go do some prison show, and, you know, y'all want me to be a crew.
A little old for scared straight.
So I was like, no, bro. So, I said, what is it, Miss Inglot? She said, we want to give you your own show, but put you on with other people. And I said, what? All we want to do is sit in your truck and film you doing repos. And at the time, Amy was working at the funeral home, and she was working side at my company, our company, and at the funeral home part-time. She said, we want to film Amy at the funeral home and you doing repos. I said, all right, I'm in. Let me go talk to Amy, because I know Amy will do that.
Yeah.
So I go talk to Amy, and her first question is it still the same money? And she was like, absolutely not. Like, it's like 1/100th of that. And I'm like, daggone it. She said, but it's a great opportunity. Your company will get exposure. It'd be great for your brand. And I'm like, all right. So they sent a cameraman down here from New York who actually filmed with, who's that guy that caught on him, Big Fish, Jeremy something? I think he's dead now. But anyway, River Moss one. Anyway, he had a show way back then, and he was filming with guys like Bear Grylls.
Yep.
So all these reality shows. Well, I didn't know that they were all staged, man, at the time. Okay, so I had no idea. Like, I'd see someone be like, that's stupid. I know that's not real. But now that one, bear jumping out of an airplane, that looked real to me. And he's like, man, I've been in the jungle with anacondas and crocodiles and da-da-da. I'm like, bro, this is Lizard Lick. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Everybody here has a gun. Everybody here likes to fight. Do not get out and be cocky.
Right.
So he comes down to shoot what they call it? Not a teaser, but it was a pilot.
A pilot
like,
episode.
The burner, the 15-minute burner. Oh, I go on my first repo, man. There's a guy that's got a truck at a garage, and the lien holder wants me to pick it up, and the guy's got a $4,000 bill. Well, the law is if it's not behind a fence, I can take it as long as I don't get caught. So I'm like, all right, we're going to go to this garage, because I figured there'd be a little mouth there. So I back up, hook up this big old truck, go to pull out the yard. This dude runs out, jumps in front of my vehicle. You ain't taking it. I was like, I'll make this good. So I'm out with him a little bit, knowing I'm leaving with the vehicle. This dumb cameraman gets out of the truck. And I'm looking, I'm like, bro, get in the truck, get in the truck. He's like, no, I got to get this footage. He runs around the truck. That dude, big old country boy, man. But about big as you, probably a little bit, big old boy. One I don't want to get out and tussle with. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, don't pay me any mind. This is for my safety. I'm like, bro, don't say that. That's the first thing they say before they throw you in jail. Like, we're just filming this for our safety. No, I know I'm going to. So this guy's like, I tell you what, you stand right there, little man. I'll be back in 30 seconds. And I'm like, bro, get in the truck. He's like, no, I got to film it. He films him going in the house. I said, I'm gone. Hit the gas. Done told this man get in the truck 4 times.
Already warned them. Everybody's got guns.
I pull out in the road. I get about 300 yards, and I stop, bro, and I hear boom, boom, boom. And all the dude was doing was shooting in the air. I mean, he was not trying to shoot. Right. I mean, I'm watching. This cameraman drops his camera, takes off running toward me, bro, jumps in my truck. I'm not joking, bro. Jumps in my truck. He is 3 shades of white, sweat coming down everywhere. I'm driving down the road. I'm like, I told you to get in the... Oh, no. Dude has crapped and peed all over himself. I'm not even exaggerating, bro. I'm looking at him, and I'm like... Bro, you getting out the truck. So I get him down the road, bro. I'm like, bro, you need to go do whatever you need to do. So he comes back. He's still got his pants on, and they are soaked all the way down. And he said, take me to the airport. I said, take you to the airport? He said, take me to the airport. So I got this repo. I drive this mug to the airport and drop him off. I'm going back to the office. Amy's like, well, where's the camera guy? He's supposed to come film at the mortuary today. I said, yeah, that's probably not happening. Like, yeah, he's probably not coming to see you, Amy. So I know at this point we've lost the show. I'm like, man, these mugs, they're just not ready for us.
Yeah.
And, Bo, I ain't been sitting in the office a day, maybe 2. And Amy's working with me that day and the phone rings. And it's Joe. She said, Ron, we have a problem. I said, we ain't got nothing. Ron don't have a problem. Let me go ahead, Miss Inglot, and be real nice about this. Ron ain't got a problem. Ron is here at his work. Ron is doing his job, and Ron is not responsible for your people. She said, oh, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. I said, well, what's our problem? That camera he had was a $50,000 red camera. Joe got a problem.
Joe got a problem.
Ronnie ain't got a problem. Joe got a problem. She's like, we got to have our camera back, and the police will not help us. I said, we're in the sticks. What do you think? I mean, yeah, you're from New York talking about, hey, we dropped our camera on somebody's property and they want to get it back. Oh, yeah, sure. Let us go aside. We'll be right on that, man. Man, come on, bro. This is, 2007 in Lizard Lick, North Carolina. You lucky you got somebody on the phone. So she's like, Ron, go get my camera. I'm like, I'm not going back to that dude, no. She's like, Ron, please go get my camera. I'll pay you. I'll give you $500 to get my camera. I'm like,
magic words.
I'll call you back in a minute. Call you right back. Ronnie's headed to that camera. I pull up. That dude comes walking out, starts walking straight to the house. I said, hold, Big John. Hold, because Big John's garage in Middlesex. I said, hold, Big John. Hold. Let me talk to you. Because everybody knows who I am. I know who he is. He's like, what? You cost me $4,000. I'm like, look, bro, I was just on my job. You understand that? But I need that camera back. He's like, you can get it back? And I was like, oh, sweet. He said, $4,000. And I was like, yeah, I ain't got $4,000. So back then, all we had was the beep beep Nextel, but I did have cellular, no. So I called you, look, Miss Englot, I can get your camera, but it's gonna be $5,000. I'll wire you the money right now. Oh yeah, I don't make $1,500 on my TV show, bro, but I'm making money. That's how business is supposed to be. So I get a camera, I ship that mug back to New York, and I made them pay the shipping because I'm a country boy. That ain't part of my money. And then she's like, "We need an invoice." I'm like, "Create one. Go to workbooks, toe books, go to whatever Excel media create. I'm not going back asking an invoice from this guy." And then it's about 24 hours later, no lie, it was that quick. She calls me up. She says, "Ron." I said, "Yeah." She said, "We're sending you a contract." I said, "Contract for what?" She said, "To put you on the show." I said, "But you only filmed one repo." She said, "That's all we needed." And I'm like, "Seriously?" Bo, overnight, FedEx envelope, contract with all the details in it. I'm thrilled to death. Take it home to Amy with my breath held. "Baby, are we gonna do this?" And she's like, she goes through it, she reads it, she's like, "No, I want a little more here." I said, "Okay." She said, this can't be in there." And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "And we need to have a clause in there that if it's against our morals or beliefs, we refuse to do anything they ask. I don't care what it is." I said, "That's a good clause." So we send it back, negotiate for a week. We're like, "All right." Next thing you know, Bo, we got a TV show. And I'm pumped, brother. I'm pumped. I'm like, yeah, the money's not real good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like
right.
we for the first pilot, man, I made more on that camera, no lie, than I made on the pilot. Yeah. And I'm not kidding, though. We filmed for 3 days on the pilot. I made more on that camera. I'm like, man, I should just start recovering the camera. Which no lie, it made me expand my repo business because I'd always only done cars. So I started looking at other things. And I know it's going to sound crazy, man. I started repoing dialysis machines, trailers. I got an airplane license, started repoing airplanes, bulls,
deer,
went to Ohio, did deer. Like I started looking for the stuff like that people got money finance. And I'm like, well, who's not helping these people? So the business model was there now because Joe done showed me about a camera. Man, Rent-A-Center had nothing on me, bro. Telling you, leave your house, see what happens. And, so we do this pilot, and the pilot's called Fired Up, and we're on it with 3 other companies. Now they're all 100% fake. We're the only real company. So when they came and filmed with us, everything was real. We're like, man, we're not staging stuff. We're not doing it. You can film us or not. So we go on this thing. This show airs. Now keep in mind, I'm picking up 400 cars a week. Repoing 400.
Wow.
We're killing. I'm telling you, but we are massive. I'm renting 3 separate storage lots to put cars in around Lizard, which is not hard because there's nothing around Lizard.
Right.
And
with 4 trucks, you're going 400.
No, this is the one where we had 13 trucks, 17 guys. Yeah, I mean, we were big. Okay. When they came, we were way like I was blowing up. And I'm like, this TV show will just make me bigger. I can franchise. Like I'm thinking all the outside the box things. And they put our show on right after a NASCAR race. And I'm like,
money.
And I'm just sitting there, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking like Shane McMahon, money. But the reason we really took the show, and all honestly, man, was for the witness opportunity. Because Amy said, look, if we're going to do the show, we're going to put Bible verses on the blackboards. And I was big in wearing these Christian jerseys. So I would have one that said Obadiah, but it looked like the Orioles that have Cal Ripken's number. It was Obadiah 1. And I had one for Revelation that looked like the Steelers. And I had one John 3:16 that looked like a Carolina Hurricanes jersey. So this is what I wore in the first 3 seasons till they made me stop. And so I'm like, man, we could really get the message across. Like we could really show how you could have faith and still do a hard job and still do it with dignity. And things do get violent, but you've never seen me cuss on the show. And usually you would see me yelling, Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. People are like, you're such a wimp. I'm like, bro, listen to me. It's hard to fight on Monday night and talk to kids on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and tell them to turn the other cheek. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like, so if I yell for Bobby, now Bobby's my bulldog. Now I bring Bobby to the witness opportunities. Now I bring Bobby to the churches. Now I bring Bobby to the meetings. So I had all this planned out, man. And I'm like, and I got all my little Ronisms. So I said, I ain't got to cuss at nobody. I've got a book with over 1,000 Ronisms in it.
Really?
Did real good on the selling with. But so I was like, yeah, okay. Ears, they call me that night with the Nielsen ratings. Highest rating show they've ever had. Huh. I'm like, wait, we're in now, boy. I'm just so excited. I go out at night, I work, and usually when I work at night, I would work till about 4 a.m. and help the guys do whatever. And then I'd come back in about 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and I'd start doing all the day stuff, processing inventory. Amy would be in there 8:30. And I walk in about 10:30, and she's like, hey, we need to talk. And I'm still, on cloud nine. I'm like, what's up? She's like, you need to sit down. So now I'm thinking somebody died. I'm like, oh God, who did? My mom, my dad, what's up? She's like, we lost 13 banks this morning.
Oh,
and I'm like, dude, what? She's like, we lost 13 banks.
Just because of that one episode.
And I'm like, what? She said, they have all called up and said that they will no longer send us business because we went and took and put ourselves on TV. And I was like, what? By the end of the week, I had lost 80% of my business.
Dang.
I went from doing 400 cars a month to 40. Had to let everybody go and sell trucks. And at this time, we had started filming the first 6 episodes. And I mean, I'm just devastated, bro. We finished the 6th episode, and if you watch it and the way it ends, you'll see it. But I'm literally burnt out at this point. I've lost everything that I've built all these years. And me, with my carnal mind, is thinking, man, I've just lost all our money. Like, how am I going to survive? I can go to work for another company. I can do this. I can do that. And we're sitting, and this is in the show. We're sitting in the office, and I literally walk into the last day crying, like literally crying. I'm a grown man, but if anybody tells you that men don't cry, they ain't never met a man. And I mean that. Men cry. Yeah. You might not see it. They might not let you see it. And I'll cry, and I just put my sunglasses on. I don't hide it, but I was bawling, bro. And I walked in, and I was ready to tell them all just to leave. And it was our last day of filming, and I just slumped to the floor, and they put it in the show, which I didn't mind afterwards. But Amy sat down beside me. She said, what is wrong with you? I said, baby, filming or not, we've lost it all. Like, we've lost an empire, a complete empire. No matter what this show does, we can't get that back.
Yeah.
And who's to say this show's going to do anything? Because they're paying us peanuts. And she said, let me ask you a question. Did you take this show for the money or for the ministry? And I stopped. She said, because, I remember when the disciples got out on the water and got scared and they started drowning. And Jesus stuck his hand out and said, don't fear, trust me. And led them back into the boat. She said, you out there in the water and you drowning. I'm in the boat. So you need to make a decision whether you want to stay in the water or you want to get your tail in the boat. And Bo, I don't know what it is about that woman, but when she speaks and she says something that prophetic, it just hits people. And she still does it today. And I'm like, heck no, I'm getting in the boat. Like I get up off the ground. I'm like, yeah, we didn't take this for the money. And it says in this world, you're going to have trials and tribulations. Take heart, Jesus overcome the world. If you ain't having trouble, you're swimming in the wrong direction anyway, because it's easy to swim downstream. It's hard as heck to swim upstream in anything, business or not. So I said, all right, we'll just restructure and do whatever. So we just did our little 40, 50 repos, and, they started picking up, and they called us back after 6 episodes. They're like, hey, we want to sign a 3-year deal. And, man, here I am ready to jump out the boat, and they put me on a ship.
Yeah.
So when I had little faith, she always had great faith. And that's how our business is built now, is because Amy is the prayer warrior, the faith backbone, but we have turned our business over to our beliefs. Now, does that mean we don't work hard? No. Does that mean we don't believe in justice? No. Does that mean that we think we're perfect? Absolutely not. Does it mean we don't sin? Absolutely not. It means that we try to just do better and be better and try to share with people why we do what we do. And the next thing you know, man, the show blows up. We get our own TV show. Now we got Liz Licktowing. Next thing you know, that show's in 16 countries and 6 languages.
Right.
And, I'm on top of the world. Again, top of the mountain, baby. And as soon as you get up there and you forget.
Let your guard down for a second.
Yeah, when you forget why you're doing this. Now this money's coming in, and, man, we're famous, Bo. We're flying to England, and, like, the lines are 8 and 9 hour queues for us to see us. We'll sit there 12 hours and sign autographs. Yeah. Like, wife swap money coming in every single day. T-shirt sales, DVD sales. And I'm like, we're on top of the world. And started losing sight of why we built this, why we were in the boat. I got back out the boat again. Amy's like, hey, listen to me. When you keep claiming on these shows and stuff that this is yours, it ain't yours. And I'm like, well, whose is it? It's God's. God gave us this. And you need to make sure that you say that. You can't say, I did this, I built this. And it's just habit. If you're on a racehorse, you say, that's my racehorse. Hey, look, man, that might be your racehorse. But how did you get that racehorse? Something had to happen for you to get that racehorse in your life. For us, it was God. So this was our racehorse, and God gave it to us. And they fly us up to New York. We done renegotiate contracts 2 or 3 times. And they're like, we're cutting your show. And I'm like, you're doing what? They're like, I'm like, we're the number one show on your network, the number one. We beat everybody else, and we're the one that you put in the time slot to go against Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Football, Dancing with the Stars. Like, we're going against all the big boys, and we're still holding 3.1 million a week, 2.9 million a week in Nielsen. Like, all your other shows are in the ones or below. Before we came along, your biggest show was like 1.1. And they're like, we got a new president, and he found Impractical Jokers. He's going to let you and Hardcore Pone and 2 or 3 other shows go. And they were the number 2 show, Hardcore. They're great people.
Yeah.
And they're going to pump Impractical Jokers. And I was like, all right, fine, no problem. I'm prepared for this. And they were like, what do you mean you're prepared? I said, well, the last contract we signed 2 years ago says that I get residuals off every show that's aired in every country, and me and Amy get 2.5% of every sale. Now, keep in mind, they just sold our show to England one season. One season. The first season, and there's 8 seasons on the rolls. The first season they sold was like $300,000. When they had sold all their seasons to England, it was like $1.8 million. And that was the first sale. Then they started selling to other countries. Like I said, 16 countries.
Yeah.
And now they're playing repeats. I'm like, we're set. We're fine. We ain't going to have no problems. I'm prepared for this. So I sit back because I know I'm getting ready to stroke a massive check in about 12 months. Like I said, you get the top of that mountain, my friend. So my checks come in one time and then they don't come in. So I'm like, what's up, my checks? Oh, we're sending them. What's up, my checks? We're sending them. Well, when I signed that second contract, instead of signing it with True TV, who owned the show, I signed it with RDF Media, who was the production company. And that's who I had the term with. So True had agreed to keep paying them money. They had agreed to keep paying me money. So when True paid them for 1 year, I had to go hire a lawyer. I'm like, look, man, I want my money. Because we're talking millions.
Right.
I want my money. And this whole time I'm still working, still towing cars, never stopped. Just, we kind of got out of the repo game, went to PPI. But I'm like, I want my money. He calls me up one day. He says, buddy, you ain't getting it. I said, what do you mean I ain't getting it, man? These mothers owe me like double-digit millions.
Yeah.
He's like, 100% they do. This is how much we have figured they owed you. The problem is they filed bankruptcy. They took all the money that True gave them and basically kept it, put it in another account, whatever, and they kept the selling side open. So like, say you had RDF Media and you had RDF Sales.
Yep.
2 different LLCs. So they put all the money in RDF Sales and they closed down RDF Media, and the only thing they had was some tables in the place they rented in New York City. I said, so wait a minute, bro. You're telling me I'm broke? He said, I'm telling you whatever you got in your bank right now is what you got. And that's all you're ever going to get. So here we go again, bro. Boom. But looking back, it made me turn around and do what I'm supposed to do and depend on God. And I'm like, hey, this time I'm not getting upset. This time I'm not jumping out the boat. I was prepared, thought I was being smart, hired the right people. But I love Donald Trump, man. As far as business ethics, not talking about his presidency, just talking about how he's done business. And believe it or not, I still respect the man after finding out he's the one that kind of invented this scam, because that's how he built his empire. He would build a hotel and have 2 LLCs.
Bankruptcies on the record.
And he would have one LLC file the bankruptcies while the other LLC kept all the money. And the catch is this: it's legal.
Yep.
He found a legal loophole. And I respect him for that, because you know what, man? If it's legal and he found it, I should have been more diligent.
Yeah.
And, not saying it was right, because it sure ain't right to me and it ain't right to all them people that Donald stole money from. But I'm saying that he didn't do anything illegal. And this company didn't do anything illegal.
Yeah.
Nothing they did to me was illegal. So I can't hate them. They played the game and beat me. So, we just went back to trusting in God, man. And I'm like, hey, let's just sit down, let's pray, let's talk. Let's rebuild the company. And it's devastating, man, when you go from here on the company to here and you're down here because you're spending all your time filming, not doing your accounts, whatever. And then next thing you know, there is no TV show.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now we also have no accounts. So we sat down, man, stayed on our knees a lot, did a ton of meet and greets, just to stay going, keep us relevant, a ton of social media, which we do now, and a lot of praying. And slowly, brick by brick, have rebuilt this company. to where we're now back with, 9 or 10 employees. We're running 7 trucks. Like, we've rebuilt.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, it was faith, hard work, dedication. But I don't care who you are. If you get to the top of that mountain, you're coming down. Unless you're Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, you know what I'm saying? If you're a small independent business owner, man, it's the ups and downs that make you. They don't break you. If they break you, it's because you got out the boat. But it's the ups and downs, in my opinion, that make you. You feel different, or
no? That's 100%.
I mean, I think that's.
I've learned so much more from the things that I've lost or the mistakes I've made than I have from the few successes that I have had.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it seems like they teach you how to, and I'm not using this word to be political, but build back better. It does teach you to build back better. It teaches you, hey, I went wrong here. I need to adjust it here. I need to forecast it here and see where we land. Because, man, goals and dreams are just that. They're goals and dreams. You don't always hit them. What is it? The old adage about Abraham Lincoln, how many times he failed? Like 14 times, 6 bankruptcies, whatever, became president of the United States. Not because he got broke, it's because he didn't get out the boat. And so, we've gone with that saying for a while now, man, like, don't go broke, just stay in the boat. And then when you came to me with a Stay Broke podcast, me and Amy was dying. Because I'm like, don't go broke, just stay in the boat. This one says stay broke. So that's the funny part.
Right. Stay
in the boat and broke, and you put it in one word. And that's why I agreed to do the podcast.
That's awesome.
I'm telling you, that's why when your buddy hit me up, I was like, what's the name of the podcast? He told me. I said, I'm all in. So I can go ahead and tell you I'll do it. We just got to line it up. But because it falls right in line with what we do, man. And that's just, so now that's where we're at, working 6 days a week, raising kids. And, the other thing I'll say as far as investments and business, because this is your specialty, but, man, I regret so many times I did not listen and get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
My dad always said, people always say, strike while the iron's hot. My dad's that guy that says, make the iron hot by striking it, Ronnie. And I'm like, man, I only got this much. I don't want to invest. I don't want to do this. And that's the worst mistake you can make. Amy told me 12 years ago, we had a chance to buy a lot and turn it into long-term parking for trailers. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in Zebulon, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Who's ever going to need a lot for long-term parking for tractor trailers? Bo, you got 3 lots on a 2-year waiting list now? Some multi-million-dollar business.
Yep.
And I was like, no. And then when it all came out, she's a mortician. She's like, let's open a crematorium for animals. Let's do a pet crematorium. I don't want to do no multi-million-dollar business. I'm like, man, I better start listening to her. I'm getting old, But opportunities, man, if you're scared to spend money, and I'm not talking about being stupid, but I learned over the years, if you're scared to take a chance, man, then you probably shouldn't be in business. You should be working for somebody else that will take that chance.
Yep.
Because they can help make you successful. But if you'll take that chance, you might fail, because we failed many times. But, Bo, the only way you're going to make it is take that chance.
100%.
Put it out there.
2 things that you should always be investing in: yourself and your future.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. And most people don't do that, man, because
they're living in the now.
And they find self-worth on that social media. And I'm not saying it ugly. I'm saying I've got 2 kids at home. Well, one's in college, one's at home. He's at home right now. But it blows my mind how they have the opportunity to get on social media and get hundreds of thousands of followers because of me and Amy. Like, I can start posting their stuff. I can duet them. I can stitch them. I can replay it. And people start following them just because they're our kids.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't want that. We want to build ourselves. We want to build what we want to build in life. We want to ride on your coattail. And I'm like, look, man, I get that, but it's hard for me to understand why you wouldn't take advantage of the situation. They said, because then we're you and we're not you. And if people like us, that's because they want to invest in us. They want to believe in us. If they like us because you're my dad or she's my mom, they just like us because of you. And that's not the kind of people I want to include in my circle. And man, I think that's some of the smartest advice I've ever learned from a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because they're like, my self-worth ain't determined on likes. If I post a picture that gets 1 like, I don't care. And I see so many kids out there, even young adults now, business owners, post something, it doesn't go, they take it down. Man, I only got 25 likes, man, I suck. Blah, blah. They put all their value on the media, not realizing, Bo, that, there's guys out there who've done streaming for years, and they get 1 and 2 streams, 1 and 2 streams, 1 and 2, and then one day, something happens. I hate the user because I can't stand her, not personally just what she represents, but look at the Hawk Tour girl, man. 1 15-second clip took her to top of the mountain.
Yep.
It's the one chance, man. If you don't take that chance, you'll never make it. Like, you'll make it, but I'm saying you'll never, if you dream big and you chase big, man, you got to just grind. And I think that's the problem with our kids today. They don't grind. Like, I see people out there, man, and they're just like, nah, man, look at the work ethic. The work ethic today is horrible. I mean, try to hire employees. You do, I do. Oh, yeah. It's horrible, man, to find good. And when you find one, you treat them good because, man, you know their value. And I think our kids put too much. I'm just going to stream for a living. I mean, and hey, man, more power to them. More power to them. But you got grown men playing Fortnite making $80,000 a month. Yep. Okay? That's the state of our society. Hey, I hope they make $108,000 a month. More power to them. I'm just saying that's what our kids are looking at. Man, I just go do that. Oh man, find what your niche is and do your niche. I still have a problem with the least paid football player in the NFL is $800,000 to be on the roster. Right. Dude, don't never see a game. Don't never play it down. Look what we're paying Michael and LeBron and all these Kobe and Shaq. I mean, look what, and man, some of those are great people, but look at what our society pays them. We put our priorities in the wrong place, man. We're putting our monies in the wrong place. And if you can just find somebody like that to believe in you and just keep grinding, man. I mean, look at Dave at Barstool Sports. Yeah. Sold his company, bought it back. I mean, for pennies on the dollar.
He sure did.
I mean, he just kept grinding.
I think $1. Yeah. He bought it back for $1.
Yeah, and look at it now, But I mean, it's because he had his own dream. He didn't go out there and try to do what everybody else is doing. He said, man, this is what I'm going to do. And if I fail at it, then I fail at it. If I quit making a living, I'll go do something else. And that, man, he made it. And like I said, these Fortnite streamers, man, more power to them, though. It blows my mind to see a 45-year-old man playing games all day. No. I'm like, but this same man gave up his dream or whatever he was doing and said, I'm going to take a chance. And society's just at the point now where that's the people they reward. Hey, man, this dude, I like watching this dude.
But it still takes a lot of work, and that's what the kids don't understand.
That's the problem. They see that, and that's what they're like, I'm just going to do that. No, it's not. I'm just going to do that. Yeah. This guy's 45. What did he do for 44 years? This guy's 34. What did he do for 34 years? Look at what he did to get there. Then you understand where he's at. And that's why I say I don't have a problem with him making the money. Hey, man, more power to him. I hope they double that money. It's just I hate that our kids see that and say, oh, that's easy. We'll just do that. No, bro.
Well, the other problem is that, as parents, we tend to fail because we're trying to make their lives better than ours were, right? But then we've been talking about it. Where do we learn the most from? It's our mistakes and failures. Mm-hmm. And if we're not letting them fail, how are they supposed to learn what it takes to overcome that, right? So, and that's where society seems to be right now. Everybody's whining because their parents didn't hang out with them or play catch with them or whatever, in our age group. And it's like, we're trying to make up for what we didn't have. And in turn, we're putting our kids and like sheltering them.
I heard somebody, I don't know what I was watching. I was watching something and the guy has a lot of problems. And he's like, I got to deal with problems. I got to go home tonight and deal with problems. I got to deal with problems tomorrow. And his dad looks at him and says, you got to find the peace between the problems. Yeah. If you don't find the peace between the problems, you'll never enjoy life. You got to find your enjoyment in between the problems. Look, you're going to have problems when you get home tonight. You're going to have problems when you wake up tomorrow. You're going to have problems tomorrow night. You enjoy that peace between the problems, and that's how you enjoy life. That's the parts you enjoy. And, man, I saw it recently, but I was like, man, that's just profound when you look at business because I don't go a day without problems. Yeah. And I get frustrated. But in between those problems, we have such good times. And it's like, man, that's what makes the grind worth it. And, what I try to teach my kids now is, trust me, brother, don't matter how far up that mountain you get, you're coming back down. The difference is I've learned to enjoy the view from the side of the mountain. I don't want to get to the top anymore. I don't want to get to the bottom. I want to stay right on the side. Because I'm telling you, on the side, I can see all those above me. I see all those below me. But guess what? It's that guy on the side of the mountain that allows you to come up and down. Yeah. And can either help you catapult or he can help you go down. It's up to you, Because when you climb a ladder, you're coming back down that ladder. I mean, I've never seen a man climb a ladder and not come back down it. It just depends on which direction you're in and who you pass. And I just want to instill in my kids, and I think they do a great job, that, you got to grind it. It's not a free world. No. And I mean, there's a lot of people, like I just said a minute ago, man, I went to see what's coming from like everybody else, went to see what's coming from this Somali child care fraud. Is it real? Is it not real? What's the deep dive onto this? And who's going to tell us the truth? Are you going to be honest with it? Or are you going to make it look this way for the news or that way? But if it is true, man, if it is true, that's the kind of thing that just teaches people to not want to work. Because if I can lie to you and get $1 million, why not just lie? And man, with social media, that's what our kids see. They're like, man, I could do this and get away with it. Like when they did the
Don't realize what's fake, what's not.
all the PPP loans.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Oh yeah.
How many people, man, there's some dude took out $1 million and bought Corvettes and got caught. And I'm like, bro, the saddest day in my life was when I plotted to get money that I wasn't going to work for. That was the saddest days of my life. When I thought about, man, I know how to get it. I ain't got to work for it. I can just free money. I don't consider the camera free money. I work for it. I'm telling you, I work for that.
Well, I think something you touched on earlier, even whenever you were in trouble and doing all the things, you still had respect. And that's the one thing that I work really hard to instill in my kids. Like we can butt heads over everything else, but if I can at least teach them respect before they get out of the house, then I know they can make it through everything else. The work ethic, the whatever, chasing their dreams. But if they have respect for themselves and the people around them, they're going to be all right.
You're right, man. I mean, I agree with that. I think respect is our biggest problem in society. I think that's why we have so many problems with the police departments.
Yeah.
When you grew up, a cop pulled you over and said, get out and get on the ground. We didn't think twice.
No.
Yes, sir. How quick? What side? Now, when you tell somebody to get out, it's call your sergeant. Let me turn on my camera.
Yeah, there was no camera.
Is there articulate suspicion? It's just like, man, look, he probably wouldn't even, like 90% of the time, honestly, I don't think they give you a hard time if you just listen to them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying there ain't some bad cops out there. It's like there ain't some bad teachers and some bad repo.
Yeah,
but I mean, 90% of the time, man, if you'll just be respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Open the door. If you'll just be respectful, man, you'd be really surprised at how good life is.
I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. We're so fortunate to be able to book such amazing guests, but booking a guest every week is proving to be a real challenge. And one of the biggest things keeping us from continuing to book amazing guests is they're waiting to see our channel get a little bit bigger and for the interviews to get shared a lot more. So please help us out just by giving this a quick share. If you're enjoying the content, give it a like. This will help it get this story out to a lot more people and help us to continue to book amazing guests so we can keep bringing this info and entertainment to you and doing the most we can with this opportunity we have. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the interview. Can we go back to the show? Because there's there's so much stuff that's online about you. I don't know what percentage is true, but
hit me with it.
I mean, you can see figuring out what you're actually saying and what people are making up. I mean, I was watching videos on you, and there's a whole video that I watched, and some guy just made this random stuff, and I think you died at the end or something. And I was like, oh my God.
It's funny, man. I'll be on live. I was on live. Matter of fact, I was on live last night on TikTok for one of my buddies, so I went on and joined his live. And I am big on that. I'm big on, hey man, if you're sitting on the side of the mountain, make sure you're helping everybody else on the mountain. That's big. So he's like, hey man, will you get on my live? He says, yeah, bro, I'm on. 10:30 at night. I'm like, yeah, I'm bored out, but I'm on. We stayed on to midnight. But some girl come on there and said, I just saw a video that your wife died. I'm so sorry. I'm like, give me 5 minutes, I'll go tell her. We see it all the time. But no, fire away. Any questions that we're on the show or anybody has questions about the show, I'm honest and answer them.
I saw it somewhere where it said in the beginning you guys were 100% real, then went to about 50%, but then by the end you couldn't shoot a real episode without everybody trying to get on
So
TV.
when we did All Worked Up, it was 100% real. When we did Lizard Lick the first season, it was 100% real. We loved it. It was us, cameras, our life, loved it. When we went to season 2, which I say 4 seasons because a season has 13 and 13. So what they call a season is the first 13. What we call a season is the full 26 because we were paid on the full 26. So when we get to season 2, which is after the 26th episode, there were some concerns. They couldn't find cameramen to work with us. It was too dangerous. All these guys were used to doing reality shows that weren't reality.
Right.
And that's when I started really learning. They had a thing called, I think it was the Golden Moose Award for reality shows. And it was in Vegas. And we did not get invited. At the time, this was right before Duck Dynasty, we were probably the largest reality show out there, honestly, short of Jersey Shore going off the air. And there were some really good ones, but we were in the top 3 or 4.
Right.
And we could not be on the award show because we didn't have a script. And to be on the award show, they had to have scripts, writers. I mean, really, seriously.
Yeah.
So we're like, we can't even get an award because we don't have scripts. And I will tell you that we've never had scripts ever, not one day. I've never read off a script. The closest I ever come reading off a script is when we're doing the cutaways, when we're explaining what's going on, and sometimes they don't like the way I articulate. They don't like the Ronisms, so they'll be like, can you say this plainly like this? Yeah, okay, here you go. Yeah, the cow ran into the barn. But the second season was about 75-25 roughly. And it was good, but we still had a problem with cameraman stuff. And during the second season, Bobby hit a guy in the leg with a full-size tire and tore his ACL. So now we got a lawsuit. And then we had a scene with a snake that they actually set up. So the guy Bobby hit with a tire, that was a bad fight we were getting into, so I didn't care. But they set up a scene, want us to repo a car with a snake in it. I was like, I ain't going in that car with a snake in it. Bobby do it. So Bobby did it. We got in a fight scene with the guy, and he actually shattered one of the vertebrae in his neck.
Oh.
So now we got 2 lawsuits. And so they come back to us for the third season. They said, look, man, we can't keep doing this. We just can't. We can't get insurance, health and safety.
Are they suing you or are they suing the show?
We have disclaimers, so if they sue us, they have to sue the show. So they can't sue me for anything.
Okay.
If I run over somebody while we're filming on my truck, they have to pay for it. So that's the only way my insurance company would agree to let me do the show.
Okay.
That, hey, we can have zero liability unless you're doing your actual work and it cannot be on camera. I said, I'm good with it, 100%. So then we go into the third season, and it's like 75-25 their way. And I'm miserable, man, because they got us doing stuff that just, I know to some people it doesn't matter, but they brought in a writer from New York, John Crowley, and he wrote for The Young and the Restless. Now, Bo, I don't know a whole lot about a whole lot, but I know if I'm going to go do a show on Chinese culture, I might want to live there for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And try to learn to speak Chinese.
Having your hair blown in the wind ain't going to work.
I'm saying, I can't roll over there like Guy Fieri and be like, what's up, y'all? And, do a show on Chinese culture. He comes to the South, and North, South don't matter to me. It's just difference in cultures. We're a big farming community, a lot more rural. I mean, of course, upstate New York's beautiful, but it's just different out here. And like I said earlier, everybody got a gun. But I don't know nobody don't have a gun.
Right.
Like literally all my buddies, gun in the car, gun in the house, gun in the back pocket. Like in today's society, man. But when we grew up, I don't never remember going to high school without a gun in the back window.
Yeah.
And nobody ever stole it or went and shot a school or committed a crime. So my whole life, we've always had guns. Yep. And most of my friends are. And you send a guy down here, man, who's anti-gun. I'm not going to say anti-farming, but he won't really big on the way we live down here. They like hunting. I mean, you don't have to like hunting. But if you don't like hunting, I still love you. So why are you going to hate me if I hunt and I eat everything I harvest? Because I grew up dirt poor.
Right.
We slaughtered our hogs, we grew our crops, and buddy, come deer season, we filled the freezer. Come spring, we fished the freezer.
Filled the garage, and then it went to the freezer.
I mean, no. And so, that's our way of life. And, nowadays, do you have to do it? No. But if you grow up doing something, man, if you grow up every day shooting basketball, I don't care if you're 80 years old, you're pretty still going to go out every other day and shoot a basketball because that's just what you grew up doing and you loved it. And he come down, Bo, and I'm telling you, man, it was like trying to work with a pregnant pole hauler. Bo, not that it means a lot to a lot of people, but we did one scene that just absolutely still gets my craw. We repoed a car, and the lady wanted to come trade me a chicken for the car. Not that that's not, if done was dirt, that would cover half an acre right there, but not that was the bad part. So they bring the chicken in on a hardwood floor, and it lays an egg. Now, I don't know what you know about chickens, but I have never in my life seen a chicken lay an egg on anything hard.
No.
Ever.
We're in the middle of anything.
So they sit this chicken down and the egg pops out and rolls across the hardwood floor. And I'm like, y'all, anybody that's country, you just sold us out. I literally just sold us out. Nobody will know. Monday night, it airs. There go the comments. Everyone. No chicken lays an egg on the hardwood floor. I bet it was a hard-boiled egg, blah, blah, blah. And it was. That's the funny part. It was a hard-boiled egg. But, so I'm like, man, we can't do this. And they're like, look, Ron, if you want to keep filming, this is what we got to do. I'm like, man, I don't like this. So, we start having a lot of animosity. And it's little things like that started getting bad. They had a guy dump a load of dump truck dirt in front of my door.
I remember that one.
Oh, I would have beat the brakes off that cat. I'm telling you, but I'd have sailed on that mug like a hub on a ham sandwich if that had been real life. I'm like, y'all really gonna believe that? Then they had a guy cut a hole through my door with a chainsaw.
I remember that one.
I'm
too.
like,
with Amy in there.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all know that mug would have got shot, right? Like literally, done. Like, that's a deadly weapon, but I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, nobody will notice. Well, if you notice, the way you can tell the difference, and I will say this, if you ever saw me bleeding, I was bleeding. I never used fake blood on the show. Got stabbed.
You got beat up
real blood.
bad.
I got beat up several times, went to the hospital. It was real blood.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I think there was all but one fight Amy had. It wasn't a real fight. The rest are 100% real. Matter of fact, when the bounty hunter comes in with the bald head, I don't know if you remember that, and Amy locks with him, if you will slow roll that picture, when she hits that mug, Bo, his tooth flies across the room.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. But I have seen Amy beat the brakes off several people and put the hooves back on them. But so here we are in season 3, bro, and it's like, man, me and Amy just aren't happy. And now you can't wear these jerseys anymore.
The ministry goes away.
Wait a minute. Why can't I wear my jerseys? Well, it's just creating conflict because of what? The new writer? He's not a Christian? I don't care he's not a Christian. Why should he care if I am a Christian? So I'm like, I'm wearing my jerseys because I have a morals clause and I can wear what I want to wear. So they're like, all right, cool. So they start blurring them out. And I'm like, I'm hot about that. So here we are in season 3. Amy's putting every episode, if you go back and watch it, has a different Bible verse on the board and a different saying. Every single episode.
I've never noticed that.
Every episode. Different Bible verse, different saying. So all of a sudden, every now and then, I'll start seeing them get blurred out. I'm like, I don't like that neither. So then we're at the end of season 3, and they come to me and they say, can't have your Bible on the table no more. Well, wait a minute here. Explain this one. It's a copyrighted book. Much like this Apple computer I got sitting on my desk, much like this Samsung phone I got sitting on my desk, much like you look around my room and half the stuff here is corporate.
Yep.
I mean, half the stuff we have is corporate. How can I not have a Bible on my desk, but nobody will file for copyright infringement on the Bible? Well, you're putting verses on the board and that's infringement. Y'all are getting really off the deep end now. Like really now you I'm not stepping out the boat, but you're trying to really turn it over. You're rocking it hard. Like, all right, so we're on to season 4. Now, season 4 was pretty much all them. No lie. And you can tell, watch the episodes. Watch how we act. Watch the camaraderie wasn't there. Me and Bobby are always arguing in real life now. Money got in between us. And to clarify that, me and Bobby were tight as a frog's tail, and that's watertight. And then Bobby hooks up with the girl on the show, and me and Amy have our clothing line, and we open a line called Election, which is kind of like Affliction, but we got it cleared to do it. Well, we hadn't got it copyrighted and patented yet. We were in the process of it. He goes and patents it under me. So he takes Election away from me. And the company did was Big Dog Productions. And again, I'm a repo man. So after 2 months, I find out who Big Dog Productions is. And like I find out who the CEO is, and it's Bobby and his girl. So me and
that
Bobby,
was true then. That girl was driving
she's the problem.
Ship.
Yep, she's the problem. She did all that. She opened Big Dog with a guy named Kevin Bunn out of Clayton, who was a good friend of mine, worked for me. He's one of the sponsors, went to his gym. He got on that money train, saw big money. And they got on there and took Affliction from us. And then if you ever watch our meet and greets back in the day, if you were ever following us, we were always together, me, Bobby, Amy, me, Bobby, Amy. Sometimes take Juicy, sometimes take Dave, sometimes take Cousin Johnny. But it was me, Bobby, and Amy. I tried to include Bobby into every single thing we did. When we started the show and Bobby came in, I brought him in. And Bobby did work for me. He did my heavy recovery, but only part-time. But I have tons of checks where I'd write him where he'd go, because Bobby can drive anything. And he had a CDL. And so, here we are, man. We're doing all these meet and greets. And when we did the contract, every time we did a contract, we did it with Bobby. So we're like, Bobby, this is what we're getting. He would get the exact same amount. We made sure that he had equal pay, even though he had no stake in the company. Because he was that important to the show. He was that important to me and Amy. And then he started getting upset because he's like, well, we go to these meet and greets and I get paid, which y'all get paid, but y'all are selling merchandise. Well, yeah, it's Lizard Lick merchandise. I want a percentage. All right, I'll give you X amount per shirt. Okay, well, that was good until we go to an event and sell 7,500 shirts. Now that percentage is no longer good enough because we sold too many shirts. So he's like, I'm just going to start selling my own merch at the meet and greets. I said, you know what? That's fine, man. No problem. As long as it ain't Election. Okay, sell what you want. So our shirts are $20 a piece. He goes in there, his shirt's $12. I'm like, bro, you can't, Bobby, we're in the same booth.
Yeah.
Sell your shirt's $12. I can't, bro. The difference in me and you is I got to pay for the hotels. I got to pay for the travel. I got to pay for the salespeople to sell our merchandise. I got to pay for the line people to keep the line straight. Like, I'm paying all this money out. Your shirts are just money in your pocket. So you can take $8 less. And every other shirt at these festivals is $25, $35, $45. We the lowest price shirt to begin with. And then, we didn't charge for autographs. And then, he started wanting to charge for autographs. Just little things, man. But it was all that girl, I'm telling you. It was all, he had somebody in his ear. And this is 4th season. Everything's kind of coming off the wheels. And they do a scene where Amy's training MMA, and it's a good buddy of ours named Rich the Bull Latino, which was a UFC fighter. Mm-hmm. And I hire him for some security gigs when we go to Florida, different places. So she's training with Master Tricoli, and that's a guy here in Raleigh that's probably one of the best street fight martial artists I've ever seen. I'm telling you, I don't know if you saw the episode with the tattoo, where Bobby got beat up at the tattoo parlor.
Oh, yeah.
And Johnny Savage, which shout out to John Savage. Love John Savage now. He's a phenomenal man, phenomenal tattoo artist over there in Fuquay, corner area. But there's a guy with him, if you watch that scene, with a bald head. And that mug is standing flat-footed and jumps on top of my fence, which is 6 foot tall, from flat-footed. That's Master Tricoli.
Okay.
That dude, Bo, I'm telling you, that man's battered 9 miles of Talladega asphalt on Alabama Sunday. You don't touch that man. Well, he was the one that trained Amy. And I'm telling you, he's a phenomenal teacher, man. Great guy, great little kid. And, we're going through all this drama, and they got Rich coming in. And Amy's like, I don't want this to seem sexual. They're like, okay. So Rich comes in, and, like, he's rolling with Amy. Because back then, there were no MMA women.
Right.
So you had to roll with men. I trust my wife. I knew nobody's going to take a punch from her like I did. And so they cut these scenes. Well, what they didn't tell us is that there's other scenes with him without telling us. So when the show airs, Rich is standing outside the gym with flowers. And he didn't think nothing of it because the way they were telling us to go play it. Rich was just a pawn in their game. But by the time they cut the scene, it looked like Amy was cheating on me.
Right. I remember that now.
And I'm like, have y'all lost your minds? We got kids in school. We're Christians. We got a good marriage. And you're making my wife look like an adulteress? So now it's on now, bro. It's like now we're hot. We are just hot. And they keep having us do stupid stuff. And now I'm like, all right, 2 takes is it. I'm not doing 4, 5, and 6 takes. And you need to do 3 takes. We need to do 4 takes. No. Morals clause. More than 2 takes against my ethics. And I pulled that card all the time. That's what we're doing. You don't like it. And half the scenes, I didn't care, man. I just walked through the scenes and do them. And you can tell.
Yeah.
They took all the
fun out.
It was different. They took all the fun out, man. And they wouldn't let us do real stuff. Then they wanted, they never gave us scripts. But they'd be like, we're going to go down here. And there'll be a red car sitting there. And some guys are going to come out. Now, don't put your hands on them. And I'd be driving down the driveway. And the cameraman would be in the guy's yard filming me coming down the driveway.
Right.
Like, bro, how'd the cameraman beat me there? If you watch the first 2 seasons, the cameraman sit beside me, or there's GoPros on the truck. Had the cameraman in the yard because you're making us look stupid. And, like, to me, it meant a lot because we took the show again for ministry and honesty and truthful and try to share what we love, but try to show people you can do a job. When they took over writing, or, again, not writing, but dictating how things were going to go down, and just letting us freelance it when the scenes happen, it was just stupid, man. I mean, guys coming out with flamethrowers and
I remember that
just
too.
stupid. Like, it's stuff just like, bro, this is stupid. Amy cheating on me. And then, so we get toward the end of that 4th season. Now, me and Bobby have had a real falling out. And he quit.
Right.
With 3 episodes left to go. Threw the keys at me. All that was real. Tried to open his own company. The whole 9. Tried to start his own TV show. Yep. Cousin Johnny, which I've known since I was 6 years old. Grew up with him like a brother. Me, him, and my brother. And that mug sold me out. Started trying to do his own TV show. Like, man, there comes a point where it's just, I'm telling you, that money starts getting people's heads turned. They don't remember the fact that, hey, I brought you in, and it's not my show anyway. It's God's show, but we brought you into the fold, and now you got something, and you can make something, and you can build off of it. But if you break from the fold, everybody's going to suffer.
Yep. And
they broke from the fold, man. And Bobby quit on TV, and he was talking to the producer up there, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll get you on the show." Okay. I think you're the funniest dude on the show, and you by far the biggest dude on the show, and you might be the toughest dude on the show. You ain't the baddest dude on the show. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there for anybody that wants to know. I'm not saying I'm bad, but I'm saying Bobby ain't gonna take me. Never could, never would. But he is tough as Tarzan feet, tough as pig toenails. But he just don't have that fighter. Like, he's not a mean fighter. He's a laugh fighter, but he's so strong he'll kill you. But I'm like, here, Bobby's quitting, everything's falling apart, and that's when they flew us to New York, and they're like, hey, we were thinking about not doing the show. I'm like, ain't no problem, bro. We're done. Yeah, we're done. Like, y'all
bringing it ready to be done with it by that time.
They're like, well, we thought we'd sit down and talk to y'all. And, they want to talk about some other options, doing some other things. They're like, we were thinking about doing something about your home life. Because Bobby wants to kind of do his own thing. And I'm like, okay, cool, bye. I'm done. I know the money. And again, later on, I come off that mountain because I didn't get my money. But I'm like, I know what's coming to me, bro. I'm done. I don't have to tolerate this. So while we're up there talking, what really sealed the deal, man, what really knocked Amy out the water was they're like, look, we want to do an episode about your children. Oh. And they had put our kids in the show, but it was picking out Christmas trees, good stuff. And I'm like, all right, what about them? Well, the nicest way we can say this is we would like your daughter to have an addiction problem and you have to go basically rescue her from the addiction world. I'm like, you talking about my daughter's going to UNC Wilmington? So who's in her junior year?
Yeah.
You want me to make her look like a meth head? I mean, those are strong words. No, that's not. That's exactly what you just said. You make her look like a drug addict. And then I go rescue her out of this world. Knowing that she's in school in Wilmington trying to build a life. Not to mention you've already made us look bad because everybody I see at my church says, Bo, are you and Amy okay? Yeah, Bo, me and Amy are fine. And so I'm like, I'm done, bro. I'm out. Amy wouldn't even go to a meeting. She's like, I was done before we come here in New York. I'm just going to eat off of their dime up in the hotel room. I knew we was done. But so, it was, we could have stayed, but we'd have had to give up who we were and who we are and what we believe in to stay. And man, I'm not selling my soul. And I know, believe me, I've seen it. And I'm telling you now, a lot of the stories you hear about people selling their soul, they're real.
Yeah.
A lot of these top tier people have sold out. You can judge on who you think they've sold out to. You can judge on who you think they're getting their authority from. I mean, that's all up to speculation. But I'm telling you that if you are a Bible believing Christian, if you hold to your guns, no matter if you love everybody, buddy, and no matter if you treat everybody with dignity, and I mean this sincerely, man. Like, I did a video not long ago that said, man, I'm gonna upset a lot of y'all believers. Because me and Amy stand our ground. Like, we say what we say, but we make sure it's biblically bad. I said, you're going to see a lot of gay folks in heaven. Bo, the internet went crazy. Ridiculous. Never listen to nothing I said after that. Not a word. When I said you're going to see gay folks in heaven, they went crazy. What I went on to say was, because let me tell you something. You go to hell as quick for stealing chicken eggs, even if they're laid on a hardwood floor, as you do for lying. And I hate to say this, but for murder, for using the Lord's name in vain.
A sin is a sin.
In the Bible, a sin is a sin. There's no levels of sin. The levels we put on it. So if you're an 8-year-old child, personally, I think you should be castrated and probably blinded, but, society deems how bad that sin is. That sin is so much worse than lying.
Yeah.
Not in God's eyes, brother. As bad as that sounds, it's not that sin is less. It's lying is more. You need to take lying up to the level of raping a kid, because that's where lying is in God's eyes. Not keeping it up to this level. Don't bring the rape down. Take your. So in the video I said, so when you get to heaven, and what you got to understand is when you get saved, okay, salvation doesn't mean sanctity. You're not immediately perfect. You're not immediately no longer a drug addict. You're not immediately not committing adultery. You're not immediately not watching porn. That comes over time. Just like a baby learning to walk. And it takes some baby 8 months before they walk. It takes some babies 18 months before they walk. As you progress in your life with God, you get better and better and better. And He works out the sin in your life. But you don't stop sinning. Until the day you die, you're going to sin. So is being gay a sin? Absolutely. Is it worse than any other sin? Absolutely not. Are there going to be gays in heaven? Absolutely. Are there going to be murderers in heaven? Absolutely. Are there going to be thieves in heaven? Look at the cross. 2 thieves on the cross. One went to heaven. Mm-hmm. We're all going to be there if you're a believer in my world. But you take that one thing that, hey, you're going to see gays in heaven, Bo, and people go crazy. And a lot of that I learned was from that, like, because they start believing all the stuff they're seeing on TV. Like, somebody says it's got to be true. And so, they don't hold their ground. They don't stand firm. They go listen to somebody speak. They take their word as gospel. They don't research the Bible. And I'm telling you, man, when I made that video, I picked up twice as many followers as I lost. I picked up a lot of the LGBTQ community, and I had to make a follow-up video. I said, let me tell you I do not support your lifestyle. However, I will invite you to my wedding, my house, and everything else if we're buddies. Just don't kiss your boyfriend in front of my kids at my house. Respect my house. But if I'm at your house, you throw your tongue down the stove. That's your house. Right. And if I choose to sit there, hey, man, I still love you. But do I have gay friends? Yeah.
Mutual respect.
I got gay friends, and you know what, man? When they come visit us, they respect my house rules and boundaries. When I go visit them, if I don't like what I'm seeing, I go watch TV or turn my head or go outside. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a matter of both loving people. And, you know, the big thing now is transgender. Love transgender people. Think they're confused. Think there's going to be some transgender people in heaven. Hate to say it. But if you get saved and you die tomorrow and you were transgender when you got saved, guess what? You're still transgender tomorrow in your mind. Now, I only believe in two genders, but in your mind, you're still what you were when you got saved. If you get saved and you don't sin for 6 months and you go down the road and get in a head-on car wreck and right before you die, you say the word GD. Bro, I don't believe you're going to hell for that. Right. Because you're saved and you're trying to grow in God. And if you're growing in God, your relationship's going to get better, but you're still going to sin. And so, man, you know, incorporating that in our business and trying to deal with those folks is impossible. You cannot be in the movies. I'm telling you, you cannot be in Hollywood. It's hard to be in the music industry if you're saved. You look at Lucas Black. You look at that guy that, Neil something anyway. He's short. He plays a lot of villain roles, short blonde hair. Wouldn't kiss another woman on set in Hollywood. Now he gets no roles.
Right.
You look at all the guys that are believers, and they get ostracized because of their beliefs. Yet they don't ostracize anybody else. And now, don't get me wrong on that too, because a lot of Christians are very hypocritical, and I'm not going to say they're not, but it's because they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to tell you that they can still love you and accept you, but not accept your sin. And that's communication is a big thing. And since we're on a business podcast, I think that's the biggest failure in business is people can't communicate.
Yeah.
You can't properly sell your product. You can't properly sell your ideas because you can't communicate. If I walk in as a business owner and doing what I do in towing and you're a gay transgender, bro, I could care less. Me and you going to have the best communication in the world because you're still a person. I still love you. And I'm here for business. And your personal lifestyle's on that side of the desk and my personal lifestyle's on this side of the desk. And too many people in today's society are picking sides and not picking solutions. Why can't me and that person have different ideas and still be best friends? As long as we respect boundaries. Why can't I root for, NC State, you root for UNC, and we still go to a game, fuss at each other all day and hate each other? There's no difference, buddy. We just have different views. Doesn't mean we're different, that we're not people.
That's what I say. Too many people live in either a black or a white world.
It's ridiculous.
And if you can live in a gray world in the middle, you're going to be way more successful than
you have 99%. Man. But in doing that, though, like I said, stand your ground. Like me and Amy stand firm. We don't hide from our beliefs. We don't sugarcoat them. But I think people see when they deal with us that, hey, man, these people are genuine. And that show was trying to make us look like we were the biggest crooks. My daughter's a drug addict. My wife's cheating on me. And here I am. Here me and Amy are witnessing the children doing youth groups, youth rallies, like secular and Christian, and trying to show love. But yet, how you going to talk to me about love? But your wife out there banging somebody. How you going to talk to me about love? Your daughter is smoking on a pipe.
Right.
Like, bro, if my daughter was smoking on a pipe, I still love her. Love her every day. Try to help her every day. I had my oldest son went off the deep end, and I think everybody that's ever followed us knows this story, but he went off the deep end, went down the wrong path, got on some things he shouldn't have been on, joined the gang, the whole nine. Finally got his life straight, finally. But man, everything you do in life comes back to get you now. I'm a firm believer. I don't believe in karma. I just believe in justice, and I believe that justice will come for you. And I think that's why the Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, because he's going to bring justice if you believe. It might not be in our time, but he'll get it. And he got his life straight, quit the drugs, got a job, man. He was doing great. Just turned 21, went to a balloon release for a friend of his that died that week. And they shot the car 19 times and put 7 bullets through him from behind. And he sat in the car with 4 other people, and the girl beside him is paralyzed for life, and the other 3 didn't get hit. But, justice came, and I'm not saying it's fair, but, his past caught up with him. And if we were still doing a TV show, and I'm not trying to be funny, first thing they would have asked me is, hey, man, can we spin this? That's the first thing they would ask me. Hey, man, can we, this is great. And they'd have made a spectacle of it. And me and Amy took it and said, look, our son's gone. But, buddy, I can't tell you how many people we've gone and told the full story to in front of groups and organizations. And I always tell them, I say, but if my son's death can bring one person eternal life, just one, in all the world, only one in the whole world, his death was worth it.
Yeah.
To me, it was worth it.
There was a podcast that you went on. I can't remember the name of it. If you want to shout it out, that's fine. But you did go through and talk about this for like an hour and a half.
That might have been, I don't know whose it was. Might have been
want to hear more about it,
or,
but you did go into a lot of detail about it.
But I'm serious about that, man. We stand our ground. And like, that's not something that you don't see me go, and I'm not being funny, but look, I could have got a lot of.
How did you guys make it through that and keep your business going, keep your life together, keep everything happening? I just can't imagine.
We stayed in the boat. We stayed in the boat, man. We didn't go broke. We stayed in the boat. And that's no lie. We stayed on our knees. The wildest part about that night, and at that time, after that happened, I'm not saying that I got away from God. I'm just saying my relationship, I was mad with God for a while. If you read the Bible, you'll see where different people in the Bible get mad because they put their earthly feelings above God's feelings, and his ways are bigger than our ways. But I was a little more upset than Amy was, because we'd done so much praying and he finally come across. But the two things I took from that situation, besides the fact, like I said, if my son's death saves one life, if my rape prevents one person from being raped, if my drug abuse and honesty about it keeps one person from sticking a needle in their arm to do anything, all that stuff happened for a reason. I have absolutely zero regrets in my life, and I'll tell you that wholeheartedly, other than, and they're not regrets, just missed business opportunities. I should have listened to my wife, but I don't regret them because everything that happened brought me here to where me and you are right now, having this conversation, doing our social media. But the two biggest things I took from that situation were, when I come home that night, I got the call, I went to Sheets, they were washing the blood off the ground. That's my oldest boy. And they just loaded him up, blood everywhere, man. I'm sitting there watching his blood run into the gutter. They're out there spraying it like it's dirt. And that's their job. But that's hard to, man, it's like, man, this is what happened. And I go home, and me and Amy are standing there, and at our dining room table, there's two big doors that have never, since the day I've moved in, been unlocked. We might have opened them personally twice in our entire life because we only use that one room for birthday parties for our kids. That's like our special little room. So once in a while we might open it, but he had just come over to the house a couple weeks earlier, had his 21st birthday. We had a big party in that room. And that night we had to open the doors because it was kind of warm in there. And this is late January or February, and cool the room off. And we shut the doors, and this, like I said, it's been 3 or 4 weeks. And the doors are shut and locked, and we're sitting there, and Amy's just crying. I'm crying. We're just sitting there. And for some reason, we went and sat at that table. It's like a little solace place, quiet. And Amy said, God, the only thing I'm asking you is give me a sign. Just let me know he made it to heaven. Because I was there the day my son got saved. I heard it. I felt it. I listened. Me and one of my good buddies at the time, Johnny Ellis, which we've drifted apart, but I will always love him, especially for being there for my son's salvation. But she just said, let me know he's okay. That's all I want to know. Bo, them doors slung open. And I'm not kidding. Amy will tell you. I'm not talking about pushed open. I'm not talking about eased open. I'm talking about a gust of wind came, and that door has a deadbolt on it, and that mug slung open, and both of them hit the walls and put dents in the wall. And Amy stood up, quit crying, and she said, he's okay. That was rough, but that was God telling us he's home. He's home. I got him. I opened the doors for him. Just like I told you when I got saved, the gate opened. Yep. God opened the doors and let him in, let him come home. So that gave us enough solace, that one situation, for God being gracious enough to show us that he's okay. And since then, I'm telling you, man, I could tell you hundreds of signs, and people say, Ronnie, you've lost your mind. Buddy, it's stuff that just don't happen. And I know he's okay. But that just gave us enough solace to not stop. It actually motivated us So, it was a while before we could go out and do things. But when we started, man, we went full-fledged. The business, that's the worst part about the business I have is because as a father, your son gets murdered or your daughter gets murdered. And you're sitting there and you take somebody's car and they come in. And the first thing they say is, that's why your dumbass son's on a T-shirt. That's why he's dead. Mm. And I'm paraphrasing what they say because I try not to never cuss. And you're sitting there and they're cussing, talking about your son, talking about that's why he's on a T-shirt. And you're like, how do you handle that? Yeah. Like, literally, how do you handle that? Like, the first couple of times it happened. And then we have blood gang members come in because the Bloods killed him. And or some members of the gang, Pyru Bloods killed him. And they'll come in and know about it and know the shooters and call them out by name because they're in prison now. Be like, that's why so-and-so capped your boy. Okay. No, he did it because the devil allowed him to do it. My son's in a better place, and that's it. And so, man, the hardest part for me and Amy, I'm not going to say was losing Alex. It's being able to go forward without Alex.
Yeah.
And if you want to see something tear a marriage apart, buddy, lose a child. But,
I'm wondering, like, how you guys made it through.
80% of people who are on TV for more than a year get divorced. Look at the numbers. On reality, 80%. 4 out of 5. If you start digging into the numbers of families that separate after the loss of a child, it's not far below that, man. It's like in the high 60s, low 70s. It just does something to the parents. It tears them apart. It separates them. And it had not been for God and our faith and us just staying on our knees. And I'm going to be honest, Amy keeping us in the boat, because Amy's the one keeping us in the boat. We'd have never made it. Man. But our relationship is stronger with ourselves. Our relationship is a whole lot stronger with our other children. Our relationship's a lot stronger with God. And honestly, our business is still prospering. And we're in a business again that having Christian beliefs and saying some of the things I said on here can get me in a lot of trouble. It can get you in a lot of trouble because people are like, well, if you feel that way, we don't want to use you. Well, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're listening to the first sentence and you're not letting me tell you the rest, because I'm that same guy that no matter what lifestyle you choose is going to love you and try to find a way to get you to God. And I'm no better than anybody else, but I stood on the stand when they've convicted the second guy. And I told him I forgave him. And I hope that he could find eternity, because this life is over for him. 40 years, it's over. But I hope he can find eternity. And, I talked to his lawyer. I said, man, please give this kid a Bible. Because he's confined in these walls, but his life is not confined to this world. And so, I think that's the only way you can handle it. Is one, you have to learn to forgive. And I think that goes in business too. Now, I'm not saying you forgive every time. Sometimes you got to say, okay, I forgive you, but if a snake bites you, you either chase it in the bush or you go get help. Don't keep chasing them in the bush so he bites you again. But forgiveness was the big thing for us. Our faith was the other big thing. And the last big thing for us, man, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much.
You're good.
Was the day they buried my son was absolutely horrible. Man, we had undercover police officers there. We had snipers on the roof. There were gangbangers there. Every other person there had guns. There were dudes there in trench coats, and you could literally see the rifle ends sticking out from having choppers out of their trench coats. We're at a funeral, bro. And I'm just waiting for it to pop off, And I was so mad. And half of it was mad because of that. Like, I can't even put my son in the ground. God, what come on, God. Just 30 minutes apiece, please. And so when it was over, my pastor, shout out to Chad Harvey, Cross Assembly, Chris Connell, Pastor Danny. Chad is a wonderful guy, man, and he has number one, his sense of humor is very dry. Dry sense of humor, man. But he's not I hate to use the word passionate pastor, but he doesn't feel sorry for you. He tells you like it is. This is how it is. You don't stop making excuses. This is where you're going wrong. And, he's just not a comfort pastor. He's not one you go to for, it's going to be okay, buddy. God's got it. That's not Chad. Chad's like, bro, you need to get off your butt, quit crying, and start praising. Like, he's straight to the point. And I love that about him, man. That's why I love Amy. But we were at the funeral, and we had walked off to the side, and I mean, man, I'm just livid. I'm mad. All that trauma's coming back. I feel so sorry for people with PTSD. because I don't have PTSD, but I just having that trauma from early in my life, and now here I am with a deceased son, and just everything was kind of falling on me. I can't imagine coming back from a war or a bad situation, man, and seeing that every day. But I mean, I'm losing it, bro. I'm talking about I'm mad at God. I'm just losing it. And I know there's a God, so I mean, I know when I'm doing wrong. And Chad's like, "What's wrong with you, man?" Like, we're buddies. And I'm like, "What's wrong with me? What's wrong with God?" Like, it ain't me that's got a problem, bro. It's God. God's got a problem. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Bro, where was God? When my son was slinging dope and running the streets and doing all the bad stuff in the world, nothing happens to him. My son turns his life around, gets saved. Me and Amy pray for him every day like the Bible says. Do everything we're supposed to do to protect him, put hedge around him, pray angels for him, play blessings over him, lay hands on him, like everything, bro. And that mug gets gunned down. Where's God? Just tell me, Chad, where was God? And Bo, that mug, I'm going to tell you, you literally thought I slapped his grandma's cat with a hair biscuit. That mug's face went bright red, like anger red. And I know Chad. And I'm like, uh-oh. Might have said too much. I might have just said a little too much. And he said, "Ronnie, in the nicest way I can say it, without you opening your mouth, I'm going to tell you where God was." And I said, "Well, tell me, where was he? Because he sure won't standing there where my son was." He said, "You were absolutely right. Because he was sitting in the same spot, in the same place, doing the same thing the day that his son was crucified, hung for 8 hours, 6 hours, stripped buck naked, and killed for your son to go to heaven. That's where God was." Now ask me again, brother, if that don't put you in the boat, you don't belong in the water. Whether you're a Christian or not, just the analogy of that, just the analogy of somebody that has enough faith to look at you and say, he was in the same place he was when he watched his son die, stripped butt naked in front of his earthly mama, hang for 6 hours and suffer, and allowed him to give his life for your son to be shot so that your son could spend eternity with him. That's where God was. How can you question God? How can you? Like, and I'm like, man, why you always got to make sense? Like, why you got to take my anger like that? You know, immediately though, the anger left, and I was like, man, he's right. You know, I mean, how can I be mad? I've had the world, bro. I mean, you're talking about a guy that grew up on a farm, and I didn't see a new pair of shoes. I was 12 years old, and secondhand clothes, and parents loved us and worked 2 and 3 jobs and never had nothing. Became world famous. And again, I'm infamous. I'm not famous, but I've been to the top, I've been to the bottom, I've been to the side. Right now I'm back in the valley. But how can I be mad at God for that? And that's what really brought me to the revelation of how can you hate other people? Like, I can be mad at you, but you'll probably never hear me say I hate you. For me to say I hate you, we really had to go down through there about something. And it had to be something with my family, my kids or something. Yeah. But I don't even hate the dudes that murdered my son, bro. And I mean that with sincerity. I don't even hate them. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for their mama. I feel sorry. Man, I sat in court, and one of the defendants only had one person show up, and that was his mama. And the only defendant had a mom and a grandma show up, nobody else. No dads, no uncles, no friends, nobody. I feel sorry, man. Yeah. I mean, somebody needs to love them kids. And that's why, you know, people get mad at me when I say things like, man, you're going to see gays in heaven. Well, guess what? God loves gays. Does he want her to be gay? No. Does he want you to lie? No. Does he say, I'll forgive you your sin? Yeah. So the world I live in, man, we can find the middle. Excuse me. We can find the middle. We don't have to be left or right, man. And that's the problem is so many people are over here, like you were talking about. And it's like, you know, I guess they call them the political terms, the woke crowd or whatever. I don't know. And then you got all these people over here that are the big conservative crowd. And of course I'm conservative, but why are we over here and over here?
There's no solutions on those ends.
I mean, what good does it do to stand on each side of the ditch? Because every road I've ever been on, unless it's a dirt road, has marking for 2 lanes pretty much. You know, 1 lane street's different, you know, but most roads have 2 lanes. And you pass each other on those lanes. If you believe one way and I believe another, we still can just pass each other. But guess what, man? We're on the same road. We're on the same road, but we're 5 foot apart. The people that you're hating every day, you're sitting beside in traffic. The people that you're hating every day, you're standing beside in the grocery store, bro. Yep. How do you build a life? How do you teach your kids? And how do you build a business on hate? How? In return, to clarify, you have to love the sinner and not the sin. I don't have to love what you do. I don't have to agree with what you do. I don't have to tell you I like what you do or agree with what you do. I can look you in the face and say, man, I do not agree with that lifestyle. But guess what, bro? Just don't do it around me. Let's be friends. Let's hang out. But, you know, if you're doing this, this, and this, man, just don't do it around me. You know, just, I'll respect your boundaries. If I go to your house and you want to snort El Jefe's hog leg of cocaine, go snort that mug up at your house. Don't come do it at my house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to, you know, certain things I do have problems with, man. I'll be honest. Somebody touches a lady, I do have a big problem with that. And I mean, I think that's just morally wrong, and that's something I will step in. But again, short of stuff like that, man. I mean, again, if you have issues, whatever they may be, and my lifestyle doesn't meet your lifestyle, so what, man? We're still on the same road, and that's what people don't realize. They don't realize, man, we're all on the same road, and all the social media is doing these days is dividing us.
Oh, 100%.
You know, that's all they're doing is dividing us, man. You pick a side and you jump on that bandwagon and then you go bash the other side. And that's why, you know, kids today, man, how do you teach them love? How do you teach them acceptance? How do you teach them forgiveness when all they see you do is hate? And maybe not intentionally hate, man, just making comments. You know, back in the 60s, you know, race was the big thing, 60s and 70s, early 80s. And not an issue today, okay? But back then it was a major issue. How do you expect to raise kids? Imagine living in the 60s and 70s in the era of all the race hate, 50s, whatever, and trying to raise a kid to be accepting when everybody around you was non-accepting. And what does that lead generationally to? I mean, to me, that's what's led to all this generational hate.
Oh, 100%.
On both sides. And so we got to find the people who say, look, man, I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry you're like this now. I'm sorry I'm like this now. And I always point the finger at yourself, myself, whoever. But hey, man, let's since we're on the same road, why don't we get out and talk at the yellow lines?
Look for solutions instead of problems.
Yeah, man, I was going to run for a county commissioner a couple years ago, and I was an independent, and you had to get so many thousand signatures. I spent 3 weeks with my popularity and turning tons of signatures. And they told me that not enough validated. Do I believe that? No, absolutely not. I know they validated. I know where I was at. I mean, I had enough to validate. But was it meant for me to be there? No. So it's God's will for me not to do it. So, hey, man, I move on. I still talk to all the people that I was running against. I still talk to all the people that were against me and for me. I still talk to all of them. Opened some great doors, some great friendships. I'm pretty sure in 2 years I'm going to run again. And my whole platform is what you said, solutions, not sides.
Yep.
Stop picking left and right, man. Stop being a Democrat or a Republican. Stop being a Tea Party or this, that, other. Hey, man, you can have those beliefs and stand firm in them. Like I said, stand firm in your beliefs if that's what you believe, but communicate about them, talk about them. Don't get up and yell about them. Don't scream about them. Don't, you know, if somebody wants to have an articulate conversation, have it. Have that conversation. You know, Charlie Kirk, whether you hated him or loved him, don't care who you were, that man was always willing to have a conversation. I'm not saying he was always right. I'm not saying that his points were always valid. He had a lot of good points. He had a few I didn't agree with, but I'm saying he never, ever would not have a conversation. Yeah. And he didn't pick and choose. He had open mic. Come talk to me. Let me tell you my views. You tell me your views. If you watch any of the Charlie Kirk videos, how many times do you see Charlie Kirk get mad?
Don't.
Never. How many times do you see the people at the microphone get mad?
Almost every time.
So how can you find solutions when you can't talk and have a difference of opinion? And that's the mindset I think we're teaching our kids, man, is look, man, we can have different opinions. You can be for free health care.
Have respect.
Yeah, and the other guy can be for no free health care, but you can still respect each other, man, and get along and find solutions. And that's why businesses suffer today is because of opinions. Like these guys out there are scared to say, I'm not being funny, I'm a Christian. They're scared to say it. I believe in this, they're scared to say it. I believe in that, they're scared to say it. If I say that, man, I might lose my business. Why, bro? If you're respectful and you articulate it, that's going to build your business because people know where they stand with you. You know, what's the biggest issue you think in America today is?
Politics right now.
Well, I mean, but the biggest issue as far as, I think immigration right now is the biggest issue.
Yeah.
I mean, immigration is like, if you want to hear an argument.
That's the one that's been hitting the most for the last
If you want to hear an argument,
yep.
go over immigration. Okay? Just go over immigration. Bo, have you seen anybody, and I mean this sincerely, trying to find a solution? Or have you seen people saying either do it or don't do it? Mm-mm. Everybody I see saying do it. I'm not talking politics. I'm just talking about a situation. Everybody's saying do it or don't do it. Why can't we just get in the middle and say, okay, let's figure out a way that it works for everybody. Like, works for your side, works for their side, and let's get in the middle and do this, man, because in 10 years, immigration's not going to be the problem. It's going to be something else.
Yeah.
And 10 years after that, it's going to be something else. And 10 years after that, if they're still here, it's going to be something else. So why don't we have people trying to make solutions, man? And you don't.
Because there's no money in solutions.
You beat me to it, man.
Money is it.
You beat me to it. Money is in the controversy, and that's why we walked away from the show.
Yeah.
For them, the money was in the controversy, and we just didn't want the controversy. Like, it's just not worth it, man.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to me at all. And I'll probably catch a lot of flack for being on this podcast saying what I say, but again.
And I probably will too, but it's your story. People are supposed to come on here and tell their story. It's not my version of their story. It's your story. So you talk your story. Who am I supposed to say no, you can't say that.
Anybody that wants to come talk to me, I'm at Lizard League every single day. Every day. I keep looking at you. I should have been looking at the camera. I'm at Lizard League every single day, Monday through Friday, half a day on Saturday. Y'all come talk to me. You don't got to be scared. We have a articulate conversation, and I'm not very articulate. Like, I'm not, I know how to talk. I just ain't an intellectual talker. I'm more salt of the earth talk. So, if I hit you with some country sayings, don't get upset, especially if you come at me and you got a PhD or ND or PMD or whatever, MD, DD, MMM, whatever. I probably can't carry on the intellectual side, but I can carry on the common sense side.
Yeah.
So, but no, man,
I think one of the biggest things, though, that's super important is, like, even if people aren't listening to you because you're saying Christian and God, that's fine. Your story is all about knowing that you don't control everything. Mm-hmm. And the people that try to control everything in their lives, it doesn't work, or they'll wear themselves out.
How happy are those people?
They're not. And the people that can let go and say, all right, I'm going to control what I can and let the rest go and just go with the flow, those are the ones that are going to be happy, make it through life. It might not be the way they wanted to, but there's going to be a path forward.
Oh, not being funny. When you were 12, did you anticipate doing this for a living?
No.
When I was 12, I wanted to be a wrestler or game warden.
I want to be a race car driver.
See, when I was 12, I was like, I'm going to be a wrestler or a game warden. So that way I can hunt all the time, or either I can get some women. That was my whole theory, man. I was like, and look at me now, man. I made my living repoing cars. I would have, if you'd have Ronnie, give me the top 100 jobs you're going to do. Bo, that mug wouldn't have been in the top 600. Absolutely not.
Right.
Hey, give me 10 things that you think is going to happen in your life. Losing a son would have not been in the top 1,000. But the adversity taught me I don't have control. And that's why I love what that guy said the other day. You got to find the peace between the problems.
Yeah.
You got to find those enjoyable moments, man. You can't control. Look.
That's something I've always struggled with, is celebrating the little victories along the way. I'm always looking for that next problem that I have to solve, and I've finally started to learn. I'm not great at it. I'm getting used to it, but like trying to celebrate the little victories along the way.
Well, look at, and I love to use Amy as an example, won a world championship, 23, 24 state national world records at one time. That was a great day. But you know what I remember about those times? I can't even tell you what outfit she wore at the world championships. I can tell you what color the plates were. I can tell you where it was at. You know what I remember about that time?
What's that?
The gains in the gym. I can tell you the first time I saw her squat 315. I can tell you the first time I watched her squat 405. I can tell you the first time I watched her bench 315 for a double. Like, there's things in there I remember, and that's the piece between the problems, man. And that's the parts, honestly, when I look back at my life, that's what I remember now. I don't remember the problems that were there every single day since I've been 15. I'll remember big ones like Alex getting killed. I'll remember things like when Amy left me. I'll remember those big problems. But when I look back at my life, man, if I sit down and me and you just had a conversation about, hey, man, give me, your 20 highlights in life. Oh, I don't remember the bad stuff. I remember the good stuff that came from the bad stuff. Had Amy not left me, I wouldn't have found God. Had I found God, I wouldn't have got Amy back. I mean, I remember the good stuff that come out. And honestly, that's how I try to approach business. We're going to have problems. We're going to lose accounts. We're going to gain accounts. We're going to lose drivers. We're going to gain drivers. We're going to lose trucks. We're going to wreck trucks. We're going to get new trucks.
Yep.
It's a yearly grind of turnover. But man, I remember eating oysters with my boys a couple weeks ago. I remember the Christmas party. I remember last year's Christmas party. I remember the pranks we pull on each other. I mean, I remember when they put stuff in my dash. I remember when they put glue on my seat. I mean, I remember thumbtacks in my chair at the office, people spraying fire extinguishers in the door and holding them shut. Like, I remember all the good stuff, man. And I've learned that if I remember the good stuff, the problems really ain't there.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing we can control. If you get a call tomorrow and say you got 10 accounts and 8 pull out, what you going to do? Try to salvage it? Try to talk to them?
But take care of the ones you still have. Find some new ones.
You find a piece.
Yep.
Hey, man, I got these 2. I'm going to build these 2 into 20.
Yep.
And I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to lay on their back a little bit.
Before I can do it again. I'm not happy about it, but I can do it again.
Exactly, man. You find that piece in there to say, hey, I started with nothing. What's the old adage, man? I mean, it's really true for somebody that's a believer, no matter what religion. I mean, if you believe in Allah or Buddhist or whatever, but you come in the world buck naked with nothing, you're going to leave the world the same way, brother. I don't care if you're wearing a suit or not, you ain't taking it with you. We come in here with nothing. I think the whole goal in my life is I came in the world crying and everybody around me was smiling. I mean, that's how I came into the world. I want to leave the world smiling, and I want everybody around me to be crying.
That's a good one. I like that.
I want to leave the world. I want to leave opposite of how I come in, but we're all. Look, bro. Amy's favorite saying of all time is, "Don't take life seriously. You're not getting out alive."
Yeah.
She'll tell you that 4 times a day at least. Stop being so serious. It's not that deep. You know what I mean? And when you honestly compare our problems as business owners to some other problems in this world, probably one of the things that stuck with me the most with my pops was when I started really taking off and stuff would happen. And I'd be like, man, I'd just be all upset about it, the show. He'd say, son, you feel sorry for a man with no shoes till you see a man with no feet. You feel sorry for a man with no feet till you see a man with no legs. You feel sorry for a man with no legs till you see a man with no life. Quit worrying about your shoes.
Yeah.
And bro, I'm telling you, man, it's, when I talk to these kids today, or I talk to business owners, if you ask me for one piece of advice, that's the piece of advice I give you. I'd tell you, man, stay in the boat. I'd tell you it's not that deep. And I'd give you that one saying, quit worrying about your shoes.
Yeah.
Your shoes don't matter. Them mugs, I've seen a lot of people make it without shoes. I mean, I've seen a lot of people make it without feet.
Yep. Absolutely. I guess one more thing I want to touch on before we close out is community, because I know you're super involved in your community and your ministry and all that stuff. Did you have trouble while you were doing the show? Did your community stick with you, or because you're in a small town, everybody knows everybody and you're blasted everywhere?
So the only people that did not stick with us was the towing community.
Yeah.
When we went on, like I said, man, if you were doing a cake show and you did a reality TV, your cake business went through the roof. If you were doing a car sale show and you did a reality TV, it went through the roof. If you were selling duck calls and you did a duck hunting show, if you're doing repossessions and you go on a reality show, your business goes in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And so when we turned for just not, nobody, we didn't turn to people to console us, any crap like that. But, sometimes, man, when the goat falls in the well, sometimes it's nice to throw the goat a rope instead of just listening down there at bay all day, And we turned to the towing community because that was our community, man. Almost everybody in the towing community turned their back on us. Mm. There was a couple people, man, I'm not scared to say their names. Eric Dean's towing out of Raleigh, never, ever turned his back on me. Danny Jeffries at Fleet, never, ever turned his back on me. But like all of our lien holders, when they turned their back on us, like the people I was friends with in those offices and stuff, I was like the Black Plague. You couldn't even speak to Ronnie.
Yeah.
With the exception of one guy, BB&T, Steve Smith, he kept in touch for many years because he said, man, I hate they did this to you, but he's the one that actually you'll find is funny. So they put a clause out in contracts for repo companies about 10 years ago. And it basically says if you go on TV, you will never get any business from us. And the name of the clause is the lizard lick clause. You believe that? We got our own clause, buddy. But the towing community really turned their back on us, man. And if you see any hate coming to us online, 80% of it's from the towing community.
Yeah.
And man, you exposed our secrets. Man, you did this. Man, you did that. And I'm like, bro, I just brought to light what goes on in our business every day, stuff that people don't see. So we're not always the bad guy. But I also showed how you could have faith, how you could have a wife, how you could have a family in your business. I also showed how
you can help people.
You can help people, how you could reach out to your community, how you could benefit through what we do, and even online now, man, like we got a lot of tow companies when we go live and stuff, man, they'll, hey, what's up, man? We love y'all. I got the towing because of you. But then you always get them haters, bro.
Yeah.
And, I learned a long time ago on social media, I used to respond to all the haters. I used to just eat me up. And then one day I realized, I said, why am I wasting my time on people who don't like me? So now I only respond to the lovers.
There you go.
If you don't make a positive comment, you're not getting a reaction out of me, brother.
Yep.
You're not. I'm not wasting my time on you.
The people that are doing that are so dissatisfied with themselves, you're not going to change their opinion.
You know what taught me that, man? I had a guy call me up. I kid you not. It's been probably 8 years ago. Show is still airing at that time, I think. And he just started cussing, fussing, yelling, screaming. I was at work. I hung up. He called back. I said, look, if you cuss, I'm going to hang up. He hung up. Called back, started talking about banging my wife, killing my kids, just crazy stuff.
Jesus.
I mean, just sick stuff. So I got mad. So I started hitting that mug with some nasty Ronisms. Like, man, your mama should have dropped you on your head at birth and sold the milk. Really just dumb, just mean. Like, I was being mean. I'm like, bro, I was hitting that mug with some nasty stuff, man. Like, just crazy Ronisms like that. And he'd be like, yeah, well, MFer. And I'm like, hey, man, keep your mom off the street corner. That won't happen no more. Like, I was hitting him with everything. Of course, I won't cuss, and I wasn't belittling him. I was just hitting him back. And then, there's no coming back from your mama. Like, you get hit with that, so he's like, well, you know what I'm going to do? I said, no, but you know who I'm going to call? He's like, no, who? I said, your mama. Matter of fact, go get my shoes from under the bed when you go over there tonight. And Amy's over there just dying. She's like, Ronnie, quit now. It's not showing God. And I'm like, I know, but I ain't saying nothing, off script. But the next day, that was a viral clip on YouTube. How I riled up the repo man. I'm like, Smugs I'm talking about 3-4 million views.
Yeah.
I'm like, this mug's making a fortune off me. Like, because I gave a hater some attention.
Yeah.
And then it was probably 2 years later or 3 years later, I was on Facebook, man. And like, I was in there and I got the big argument with them on Facebook and stuff, man. And they screen grabbed everything and started downloading all their apps and stuff. And again, it's nothing that I wouldn't say out loud. It's just sometimes I can get ruthless with my Ronisms. I mean, I'd call you stupid without calling you stupid, really. And, like I said a while ago, dumb's dirt, you cover half an acre, your IQ's measured with a yardstick, you need a crowbar to get out to third grade, what'd your daddy do, piss in a boot and raise a blooming idiot? Like, I hit him with everything, But he did the same thing, and that's when I said, you know what, man, I'm done with these guys. Like, it's I guess they call it rage bait now.
Yep.
But it's just clickbait. Now, I'm not giving you that. You know who I'm going to get that to? I'm going to get that to the people who support us, love us, stuck with us. And Bo, we tell everybody, God put us here, fans keep us here. And we have the greatest following. Like, so we ain't been on TV in, 7-8 years?
Right.
I still got 2 million fans on Facebook.
I know. It's awesome.
And they are so responsive. You can look up into any feed, and I go in and answer everybody. Like, I at least hard on facts, holler. I try to answer as many as I can. We 1.3 million on TikTok, and I hardly do TikTok. Like, Instagram blows up. That's loyalty. That's people who care. But it's because I honestly feel this. Our entire time on TV, I was never not approachable. I always told people what I told you. I'm not famous, I'm infamous. Me and you are exactly the same. You know what we do when we get up in the morning first thing? Take a leak. Yeah. And I think that's everybody over 20. Yeah. But we're all the same, bro. Our skin color can be different. Our religious beliefs can be different. Our morals can be different. But we still bleed the same, hurt the same, love the same, feel the same. Some of us just matter than others. And so, man, I think our fans have always resonated with the fact that we're approachable. We still get 400 phone calls a week at the office. I still get, because they're airing the show on Quest and at every prison in the United States, because it's free TV. So I probably get 100 calls, 100 calls a week from prison, Big prisons, little prisons, women's prison, kids' prisons. That's crazy. And mail. I still get sacks of mail every week. But it's because I think people see that we're approachable. We're not. Yeah. We're just people, man. I mean, we're country's a baked bean sandwich. I mean, well, Amy's country is a potato chip sandwich. She don't eat baked beans. But I think in business too, though, that's something that you have to be is approachable. I think our product is better than any other towing company out there. We do things that nobody's doing. We record, we film, we take pictures, we delegate it. We allow all the accounts to access our digital systems. We do 360 cameras. We do live remote cameras. So I think we have the best, absolute best service in PPI, private property impound. But I would never walk in an account and say that.
Yeah.
Because then I'm saying I'm better than every other company out there. Hey, here's what we offer. And we feel our product is great. But I'm not going to say, unlike so-and-so who doesn't do this and so-and-so who doesn't do this. I'm never going to downgrade them. Because I think the number one turnoff for me when somebody comes and talk to me if they try to put down another product, whether it's a good product or not. If you want to come in and sell me something and I hear you say something about another product, I'm done. You should be able to tell me your product is the best product without knocking any other product on the market. Yep. This is why my product's the best. And that's, I think that's something at work that we actually live by, but that's because fans taught me a long time ago, man, just be who you are. You ain't got to be fake. I ain't got to pull no strings. That's why I say when I come in, I say who I am, probably get in trouble for it, but I don't think I can leave here today and anybody can say, man, you're a horrible person.
No.
I can't believe you served Jesus. Why not?
Yeah.
Because I'm Muslim and Muhammad is the only God. Well, that's cool, man. How about me and you go grab a burger? You tell me about Muhammad. I'll tell you about Jesus. And no matter how we leave, we both going to be full. How about that, bro? Yeah. I mean, I'm down. I'd love to hear about Muhammad, bro. See, I kid you not. I listen, man.
Learning. Continue to learn.
Hey, man, maybe you'll teach me something I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I know I'm not, but if I don't listen to you, how do I know?
Yeah.
How can you? How can you get any better at chess if you won't listen to somebody who's better than you? You don't learn from beating the newbies. Yeah, you remember you played. Remember Fool's Mate? 4-move checkmate? Yeah. It take about one time to learn. It take about one time to learn not to never let that happen again. But still today, I will play some really good chess players, and I'll see them mug come out with Fool's Mate, and I'm like, bro, are you serious right now? Like, you really bro, this is 6th grade. And they're like, yeah, but you'd be surprised how good 6th grade education works on the chessboard. Yeah. Because people are thinking so far ahead, they're not seeing what's in front of them. Right and I think you said it earlier, you got to see what's in front of you.
Yep.
But yeah,
So, do you keep up with all the old people off the show that aren't with you anymore?
So I still talk to Juicy. Do not speak to Johnny. Do not speak to Bobby. Do not speak to Crazy Dave. Okay. Do I hate them? Absolutely not. Do I wish them ill will? Absolutely not. I love Bobby. I love Johnny. And I love Crazy Dave. I have no hard feelings. I hope their families are healthy. I hope their lives are full of joy. I mean that sincerely. It's what I said a while ago is when you get snake bit, you can chase that snake in a bush and let it bite you again, or you can choose to admire that snake from a distance and go get help. I'm not calling them snakes. I'm just trying to give you an analogy of where I am in my life. So their lifestyle is different than my lifestyle, and we can still get along. But once you get hurt to a level of I can't trust you, you can't be in my inner circle. You can't even be in my outer circle. Right. You got to be in the big circle. And so if I saw him somewhere, there would be no fight. There would be no cussing. There would be no yelling. There would be no animosity. Hey, man, how you doing? Hope the family's well. And I'm 99.9% sure I would get exactly the same. When the show ended for about a year and a half, Bobby and Dave really bashed us online. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
They bashed us. Just bashed us. And they wouldn't say lizard lick, they would say those lizard people. That's what they called it. At the same time, they're still selling lizard lick merch, but instead of lizard lick towing and recovery, they changed their merch to lizard lick recovery. Could I sue them? Absolutely, man. If that ain't copyright infringement, ain't no such thing. You can't take a word out. You can't Pat Riley owns 3-peat. You can't name that mug 3 and 1-peat. Still 3-peat. But, man, if that's what they felt they had to do at that time for themselves, that's the road they chose, and where they chose is taking them to where they're at. And I hope they're really happy. And I just choose not to allow them in my life, and I think they choose not to allow me in their life. You know, Bobby reached out when my son was murdered, and I wouldn't talk to him because, and I mean this sincerely, if we were brothers and you're not around during the bad time, I'm not around during the good times, I don't need you in the bad time. Yep. Because you weren't here for all the good times. You weren't at his birthday parties. You weren't, you know, and he grew up with Alex, man. He was on the show with Alex. But when we split, not one time did he ever contact one of my children. And then Alex dies and he reaches out to me, and I give him kudos for reaching out to me. I mean, it took a lot of guts to reach out to me. And it meant a lot to me that he reached out to me, but I wasn't going to reopen that door. I wasn't going to let a death and grief push me somewhere I didn't want to be. But Dave and Johnny never even sent me a text. Nope. And again, man, they didn't owe me a text. They didn't owe me anything. You know, so I hope they're doing good. I know Bobby had a new baby. I just pray it don't have a head as big as his. But I'm glad they're happy. I'm glad they're happy, man. I'm glad they're happy, you know. Wish them the best.
All right. We got rapid fire questions. Do you have any questions?
Two good ones.
Okay.
A little controversy. Chevy, Dodge, or Ford?
So I absolutely, emphatically love Chevys and Fords because they keep my Dodge tow trucks in business. They're Rams now, for the record.
And then someone asked, how was Amy today?
How what?
Well, the past. Amy's on too, but
Amy's here?
yeah, Amy's on.
Amy's watching?
Good question. Whose truck is that you drove here today?
Oh, everything I own is Amy's. So I don't own it. I rent it. I just don't pay money. Amy is like, I don't even, some days I don't, she's the bank of Amy. So like today to come here, this is no lie, I'm like, baby, can I take the truck? Like I literally asked, can I take the truck? You know, but the best part about that is Amy never says no. I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, man, we share everything 100%. And I've said it all through this podcast. If Amy wasn't as strong a woman as she was, we would not be together because I put her through so much heck, man. I put her through so much pain and just hurt. And like I said, she told me until the last day, she said, well, God says I got to stay. And I'm like, God, who? Because again, remember, I would say, God, me and God, we must be friends or something, you know. God told you to stay. That was like me. And it was only because God knew that until I was ready to break, I wouldn't come across the line. And when I broke, she wasn't there. And that way, the only person I had to depend on was God. And, but yeah, that's Amy's truck. And it's the funniest thing I tell everybody. I'm like, Amy's got a nice SUV. Amy's got a nice jacked up Dodge. It's actually a Ram, jacked up Ram. My son actually, it's funny because my son and Amy actually have GMCs. And I hate to say this, I drive a GMC. But the reason I drive a GMC is because I have a 2012 GMC with 200,000 miles on it, V8 truck. I have $1,300 in it.
There you go.
But I will drive a Daihatsu truck with $1,300 in it. So, you know, hey, if I wreck that truck, it ain't going to matter. But my wife and my son are more GMC people. I'm definitely the Ram guy. But in all honesty, the only reason I'm big on a Ram, I'll tell this real quick if we got time.
You're good.
So right before the show started, you'll appreciate this from a business aspect. We're talking about business. So I had nothing but Ford trucks. Nothing but Ford. Did not have anything but a Ford in my fleet. We had like, 12 or 13 of them. 5 or 6 or 7 were wreckers. And at the time, every 3 years, we would trade the truck in because we were running so hard. I just tried to keep them under warranty. And usually in 3 years, I was easily out of warranty. And so Ford had the 7.3. I don't know if you remember 7.3 diesel. Best diesel ever made, workhorse. Only diesel that comes close to that is the Great Big Detroit.
I still have
Never had a problem. 7.3 is the best motor on the market. So Ford switched to that 6.0, which was the most problem motor on the market. Yep. Now they bulletproofed them and all that, but at the time they didn't. So I bought all 6.0s, and here comes the show. Oh. And I've got 5 or 6 6.0s, okay? And so I bought a brand new one 3 weeks before the show. We're going to use it on the show. 50 miles on this mug, lettered out, lighted out. And one of my trucks about 3 weeks before the show is at 90,000, starts acting up. Take it to Ford. All right, we can't find it wrong. I'm like, listen, man, at 60 miles an hour, this mug's overheating. You get under 60, it stops. It's got to be something wrong with the head gasket. No, we can't find it wrong. Can't find it wrong. Take it back at 92,000. Take it back at 97,000. Can't find nothing wrong. Can't find nothing wrong. At 101,000, the head gasket blows. And what it was, there was a pinhole in the head gasket. When you put enough pressure on it, it would overheat.
Yeah.
When you let the pressure off under 60, 65, it wouldn't do it. 101,000 miles. Now keep in mind, I had just purchased a brand new Ford truck and had 4 or 5 others. I went up to the dealership. I said, head gasket blew. I've had it here 4 times in 3 weeks. He said, it's out of warranty. I said, yeah, no, that's not going to work, bro.
Yeah, they're good at playing that game.
He said, that's not going to work. But I brought it here 3 times in 7,000 miles. I got 4,000 more miles, head gasket blows, and it's overheating. And the whole time it's been a head gasket, it's just probably a pinhole. He said, well, we're not going to warranty it. I said, listen to me real close, because I'm nobody of no importance. I'm not. But I spend so much money with your company in this one dealership that you should warranty that just out of kindness. And I'll keep buying trucks from you. He said, well, no. I mean, cut and dry, no. I said, okay. I'm getting ready to start my own TV show. And every truck on there will be a Ford. And I know a commercial on the show because I talked to somebody who wanted to advertise. When we started our first season was 20,000 for 30 seconds. By the time we got into our own show, it was like 45 to 60,000 for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Your truck and your logos will be on every show. You can't get that kind of free advertising. We're talking millions every week that you're getting. Videos, excerpts, repeats, whatever. He said, doesn't matter to us. We sell enough trucks. I said, buddy, if I walk out of here, I promise you I'm going straight over to the Dodge dealership and I'm going to buy me a Ram Dodge at the time. He said, well, I reckon you got to do what you got to do. I said, all right, fair game. So I go back and talk to Amy. We don't know what to do, because I don't want to do something out of anger. Got to think about its business. And the night before the show, supposed to start, my driver's 6.0 blows a head gasket on his truck, one of my drivers.
Yeah.
He calls up and says, Ronnie, and this one's got 130,000 miles. He said, I blew a head gasket. We're right in the middle of a major shift. I said, just go grab my new truck, and when you drop it off this morning, I got to start filming at 8 o'clock. Make sure it's washed and cleaned. He said, all right. He calls me at 5:30. He's rolled it 7 times. I'm just devastated, bro. I'm like, are you okay? I'm okay. Was anybody with you? Yeah. Why would somebody be with you? Well, I picked this girl up to ride around with me. Is she okay? No, she went to the hospital. Oh, great. Know where that's going. Lawsuit also. I'm like, but you're okay. She's not going to die. He's like, no, she's got facial laceration. I said, okay. Everybody's in town. I mean, everybody's in town, but to do the filming. I called them up. I said, look, we got a problem. They said, what's the problem? I said, the guy just wrecked my new truck. Just 2 hours before we film. They said, well, can't we film one of your old trucks? I said, yeah, I prefer not to. They said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're still trying to get everything set up and everything. How about we give you 48 hours? And I said, I can buy a truck in 48 hours, already equipped and everything. So I go up to the Dodge dealer, man. Dude sitting there knows me, knows about the pilot, knows about the first series. He's like, hey, man, what's up? I'm like, hey, man, I want to switch over to Dodge. He's like, are you being serious? I'm like, I want to turn every truck I got from a Ford to a Dodge with the exception of my rollback because that was a Caterpillar motor. He said, give me 30 minutes. He comes back. He's like, hey, man, corporate's going to call you. Lloyd's going to call you. Fast forward to the afternoon, I get a phone call. It's from Dodge headquarters. They said, Mr. Shirley, we'd like to give you a free 4,500, a free 5,500 if you can guarantee us it'll be in every show. I said, Bo, I can't guarantee you anything, but I can tell you I'll drive it in every show. Now, what they air.
Yeah.
But considering we're a repo show and considering they got to be in my truck, I mean, that pretty much is cut and dry.
Yeah.
They have 2 trucks on my lot the next morning with stickers on the window. I called my buddy in Virginia, Anthony at Dynamic. I said, hey, man, I got a problem. He said, what's your problem? I told him. He said, man, I got your solution. He said, bring your trucks up here and drop them off. I'm going to put the beds on for free. He said, but it's going to take me a week. He said, while you're up here, pick up one of my already built Dodges and take it back and film with it. That's how I went to Dodge. And I've been with them ever since. All because Ford refused to do a $2,000 repair.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was your question about Dodge and Ford. Sorry, but that's
That was Country Boy.
well, that's Ford. You lost. Sorry. Whoever was your GM at the time, don't blew it. Hey, they gonna stay broke.
That's it.
What's your rapid fire?
We got favorite repo moment.
I thought these were rapid.
So be quick.
There's no quick stories in repos. Quickly, went to repo a lady, 78 years old, after church. She come outside with me and Amy, said, the only thing I need is my God. And I said, no problem. She said, my God is my Bible. I need the word. I said, no problem. She reached in, got her Bible out, opened that mug up. She had a snub nose 32 drilled out. She stuck that mug to my head and said, now you want to meet my God? I said, absolutely not. And I left. And Amy has told that story 1,000 times. We did get the car 3 hours later, but still, I did not want to meet her God.
What do people misunderstand about you the most?
It's hard to answer that without trying to sound boastful, but my intelligence. Everybody that sees me thinks that I am seriously a uneducated, ignorant country boy or redneck, tattoos, flat top, the way I talk. And they always underestimate the fact that, you know, I actually have, I'm not saying I'm smart, I have enough intelligence. And they're always playing checkers and I'm playing chess.
I like it. Advice to your younger self.
Don't change a thing. Not one.
That's my answer as well. All right. Before we do our closeout, anything you want to talk about, how people can find you, anything about your ministry?
It's easy to find us, lizardlicktowing.com, or at the shop. Or you can find me Sunday morning second service at Cross Assembly. It's 3 easiest ways to find me. Amy will make sure we're there. The ministry, man, I'm just an evangelist. I'm not a pastor. I try to separate those two. People don't realize that. Biblically, I can never be a pastor because of what I've done in my life. That's why Paul was an evangelist. That's a guy who used to, in the Bible, for those that don't know, would behead women and children before he found salvation. But there are rules to being a pastor, and I broke almost every one of those 17 times over. So I literally cannot be a pastor biblically, but I am an evangelist. And, man, we do something called a dirt church, and a dirt church is just speaking the word wherever the boom drops. So if you ever have an event, outreach, it doesn't have to be Christian-based. It can be secular. It can be a wild game dinner. It can be a Monday night football game for all I care. And you want to talk, I'll come out and talk. I don't charge. If you want to give me something, you can, but I never saw Jesus charge for his ministry, so I don't charge for ours. Amy does not charge for ours either. I'm not speaking for her. She does require Sprite Zero and Smart Water. Let me throw that extra in. She does require those because she is gluten free. She's I didn't say that, but she's after our last kid, she has a gluten allergy, a sugar allergy, and she has Rayner's disease, which is where your hands and feet go numb, cold.
Yep.
So she has no L4, L5. It's completely gone. So don't ask me how she still functions. She broke it in the last lifting contest we did.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
Well, this is a little segue to our guest next week. We have one of the founding members, I think, of Jeff's Bagel. They just opened one in Wake Forest. They're opening one in Rollsville. And our preliminary meeting with him about coming on the podcast, he was talking about how their flour that they use is more like the flour in Europe. It doesn't have all the chemicals and additives in it. And people with celiacs and gluten intolerances have been able to eat their bread. So it might be worth a try.
Well, Amy's got... So I've learned this with celiacs and gluten. There's levels.
Right.
Amy is one of those that if she eats gluten, we have to EpiPen her. Like she gets swelling and all that.
Yeah.
You can't even cross-contaminate her food. But what I have learned in watching her deal with these allergies is, because I have no allergies, I'm a fat guy. My only allergy is trying to put food down. But what I have learned, man, is gluten-free stuff has come a long way. Yeah. And these new businesses that are incorporating a gluten-free option, including Jersey Mike's. Now, they might cross-contaminate. You got to be real careful, but some pizza joints. But these companies that are starting including gluten-free or gluten-tolerant, I mean, they're blowing up. They are absolutely blowing up. I'm not trying to give them a shout out or anything. I love them to death, but there's a place in Wake Forest called Sweet Traditions, and they do nothing but cakes and cookies and stuff, and they are gluten-free. Yeah. I mean, they have regular, But you can call up there and order gluten-free cakes, gluten-free cookies, gluten-free this, that, and those businesses like that, man, because so many people, I didn't realize how many people had that disorder.
Yeah, well, it's because of the additives to make flour shelf stable. There's a whole thing behind it, but yeah.
Oh, so I'm gonna have to watch that because ours started after our second child. We had a C-section, and from a month after that, her whole body changed.
Yeah.
But it might be that she couldn't tolerate some of the additives in, or that her body wouldn't process the same as a female.
Yeah.
Could be just she's mean. I don't know.
Could be. Well, shout out to Kyle, my operations manager, for connecting us. I appreciate that. And you get one last question because we end every episode the same way. And it's because once I found my definition, it changed the way I run my business and my life in general. How do you define success?
I would define success going to work every day and being happy when you go home. How you define it?
How do I define it? So, like I said, I struggle with celebrating my victories, and I've learned along the way that I have trouble understanding happiness. So my success is giving back to the people around me that helped me get to where I'm at and watching them enjoy the things that we've built together. That's what makes me fulfilled. And then making sure that, I can take care of my kids, travel with my kids, help support them in their dreams is a big part of it. And once I figured all that out, got rid of a lot of the noise, a lot of the nonsense, and kind of redid how we're running business.
I can tell you what I do not define success as also. Money.
Root of all evil. That's a big thing we talked about this whole episode.
If money is your success, you'll never be successful. You might be rich. Very possibly. You might be Elon. You might be Dave Portnoy. You might be Jeff Bezos, but you'll never be successful. That's not success to me. Money's not success. And now I will say, in closing, that the man that said money can't buy happiness was flat broke when he said it. Okay, he was broke. He stayed broke because money can buy a lot of things, but money cannot buy success.
Yeah. Money
can buy you friends that are fake, and money can buy you a ring on that ladder, and money can buy you recognition and power, but success, man, success is in the heart. I mean, I watch guys that ride bulls that you'll never know their names and die at 60 and can't walk, and they think they're the most successful people in the world because every day they love what they did and they wouldn't change a thing. And to me, that's success, man. Yep. That's success.
Well, it's a great way to end it. I appreciate your time. Man. Thank you so much.
I hope you can edit all that down to like 30 minutes.